Hey, everybody, we're back here at Tech Alley Live on May 17th, 2025. It is the 4th anniversary of Tech Alley. I am here. I'm Jason LeDuc. Dave Berlin is my partner in crime. He's over there checking to make sure we are looking good and sounding good, and we are going to be doing some new things for you today. If we don't look great today, if we don't look well lit, I think we actually look okay, but if we don't look well lit, it's pretty windy today, so we didn't set up our big light to get the beautiful light shining down on our smiling faces. But we are here today. It's Tech Alley. It's the I'm going to try to get my chair set a little better. It is the 4th anniversary of Tech Alley. When this started 4 years ago, it was kind of an experiment, but it's really blown up and blossomed into something really great. We're here at Taverna Costera. They are providing the coffee, the water, the lunch for every Tech Alley attendee. That's all free. If you want to come down and check out Tech Alley, you get free coffee, you get free water, you get free lunch. So what we're going to do now is we are just kind of waiting for the announcements to start so you can get the rundown of everything going on Tech Alley. So what I am going to do is I'm going to switch from this view to our view. I'm doing this from my phone. But we've got a camera set up on where the announcements are. You can see kind of some of the networking that's going on. So unknown how the quality is going to be on this. We're going to see how it goes, but I do want to, before I switch it, shout out one more time the folks at Taverna Costera at the corner of Charleston and Maine. They always do an amazing job. They're always such an amazing sponsor, and we are going to go from here, so I am going to switch over to the other camera, and I think we'll be getting the announcements started in just a bit. Here we go.
to the front so we can get these announcements going and get this party started. Today is the 4-year anniversary for Tech Alley, you guys. Congratulations, 4 years. We have to definitely get everything going. We're going to be doing some fun stuff tonight. Hey guys, we're going to start Tech Alley. Come on down. Well, first I would just like to say thank you for coming. This is a wonderful day. I'm actually enjoying the overcast and the wind just before it gets a little too hot to play out here, because I promise you in the next month we're going to be sweating and we're going to be wishing it was like this, that's for sure. Also, just remind everybody, please, there's a QR code on the wall. Register and get your ticket for lunch. We'll be handing those out, and I want to make sure that everybody's included in that so we can get our food. My name is James Roop. I am the blockchain educator here. I have kind of a messed up knee, so I'm not wearing shoes. It was just too hard to put them on and bend down. So I appreciate the grace on the flip-flops. But I educate on blockchain integration and technology, how to privately secure digital assets, and actually how to identify good assets over junk. I've been doing this for about 12 years, and I'm happy to teach anybody how to build that private infrastructure in their own home and how to yield interest off of these global networks. Nobody understands what I do, but I still hang out here anyway. All right, guys, so if you have any questions later on, I'll be teaching a class here in the Journey room at 2:45. And once again, my name is James Roop, and the company is Cardano Mint, because that's a mantra we want to say. We want those good things that are for us to mint and grow for us. Right? Okay, guys, let's get started. Now we're going to kick off with the speakers. We have Jason DeLuke. Come on up. Round of applause for Jason DeLuke.
What's up, everybody? Welcome, Tech Alley!
Yeah.
Who's excited to be part of the 4th anniversary of Tech Alley today?
Yay!
Who has already made an amazing connection they wouldn't have made if they showed up today?
Yay!
Best part of Tech Alley. We're going to be doing our live stream, live from Tech Alley right over here. We want to talk to you about what you have going on. Who's a startup founder?
Yay!
We want to talk to you. Who's an investor? We want to talk to you. Who's got a business that supports startups? We want to talk to you. Who's got an event coming up in the next couple of months that they want the world to know? Put your hands down, Dave Berlin. You always have an event coming up. If you don't know Dave Berlin, get to know Dave Berlin. Who knows Dave Berlin?
Yeah!
If you have an event coming up in the next couple of months, whether it's a tech event or not, we want to talk to you. So come see us today. Come talk to us on our live from Tech Alley live stream. It's going out to the world, and we want to show the world what's going on here at Tech Alley every month, so that we can really get this Las Vegas tech ecosystem put on the map, okay?
Yeah!
All right, who's going to come see us?
Everyone!
Everyone. All right, I know James is going to come see us. All right, let me turn you back over to James.
All right, thanks, Jason. Appreciate everything you do for Tech Alley. Getting that message out across the world on YouTube is so valuable for this ecosystem, so we appreciate it. We're also going to have Kurt Walker coming up, and we have Kurt Walker filling in for Kurt Walker, who's got my money.
All right, guys. I first want to give props to all the founders that came out and pitched at the pitch event on Thursday night with Founders Live at Fusion 42. I actually think some of those founders are going to get funded, not just because of who was in the room and the interest level that was in the room, but also the work that they're doing to be prepared to be pitched. It really shows. There's a reason why founders more and more often from Vegas are absolutely getting what they need to actually go out and dominate these pitch competitions and things like that they're out. So that's something I'm actually personally very proud of, is that we've got so many of the Vegas founders that are going to other markets and they're winning. They're dominating these events. Number two, you guys know that we track all the capital that's available on a weekly basis, all the new capital that comes out. So this particular week, we have $4.3 billion in brand new capital across 25 funds, 75% of which is here in the United States. Last but not least, we have the Raise Fundraising Summit. We do this twice a year. We interview 50 of the best fundraisers from all over the world. We have panels, we have pitch events. The first 2 days are virtual, so wherever you go, you have no excuse to not be able to attend. That's the 3rd and the 4th of June. That's a Tuesday and Wednesday. And then we also have on the 5th, an invite-only Raise room where we're going to have founders pitch a room of investors. That's here in Las Vegas. If you guys didn't get a chance to come hang out with us at Saffron, you're definitely going to want to next time. It's a great spot. We had a really good time. Last but not least, I want to introduce my friend, Mr. Nick Hughes from Founders Live. He's going to tell you a little bit about our session we're about to do. If any of you guys want to understand how to build a community with hundreds and hundreds of individuals or thousands across multiple cities, this is something Nick and I know very, very well. We're going to be breaking that down. Mr. Nick. Woo.
Hello, hey, it's really great to be here. I'm Nick Hughes. I'm the founder and CEO of Founders Live. We're a global ecosystem for early stage startups. We're best known for our pitch competitions that happen now. We're approaching about 150 cities across 53 countries. I started in Seattle about 14 years ago. Sorry, 11 years ago in 2014. And I'm just excited to be here. Each year I pick a part of the world to travel to and go to our cities, meet the people, meet the founders, and it's really special to be here in Vegas. You all do have something very, very special. I can tell you that of the cities I've been to, which is probably 50 cities around the world, if not more, this is not happening on a Saturday morning. Okay, so the fact that you all are here, give it up. This is incredible. People are doing other things on a Saturday morning, and so this is great. Very excited to, yes, the session to chat and share my thoughts, and Kurt and I will go through how you really do build community and have that scale across the world. There's very specific things that I think y'all, if you learn it, maybe you can take that and build your own companies. The future of business is rooted in community. Yep. So excited for that. And last but not least, Founders Live Las Vegas. We are building and growing our leadership team here. So if you're interested in doing something like this, but leading for Founders Live here in Las Vegas, come talk to me, or just go to founderslive.com and you'll see there it's founderslive.com/lead. You can fill out a form and apply, but we are looking for great leaders that want to be in front of their community and lead what we're doing at Founders Live. So come talk to me.
Woo. All right, guys, round of applause for Nick Hughes. Founders Live, you guys. Yeah, I can't express how important those things are to kind of have all of these things. So thank you so much, Kurt, and thank you so much, Nick, for bringing this into our area. We really appreciate it. All right, you guys, now we have one of our newest members, King Jones. Come on down and tell us what we're going to be doing today. King Jones, what are you talking about, sir?
Hello, how y'all doing today?
Good.
One of the biggest companies that I have is Dr. Fish Spa. It's where you put your feet in with the fishes and the fish kind of eat the dead skin on your feet. So it's been doing pretty well. We have a couple of locations here at the Fashion Show Mall as well as Planet Hollywood inside of Miracle Mile shops. But one of the biggest reasons I'm here today is the pedal pubs and the carriages right behind you guys. These are fully electric vehicles. This is the first of its kind to have a fully electric carriage, as well as the pedal bike as well too. I'm excited to launching it. We should be fully launching next month, the end of this month. So I definitely wanted to come out to bring some more awareness to it, but more importantly, learn from you guys. I definitely believe there's a lot of knowledge in the room. I'm kind of like the first generation from my family or my neighborhood that reached a certain level of success, and sometimes when you reach a certain level, it's hard to find the guidance, that sometimes you need once you reach a certain level. So I'm more so here as a as a student. So anything that anybody think that they can that can help, I'm totally open to receiving.
I think we need to go for a ride, dude.
Yeah. Sure. I also have a water bottle line called Love and Gratitude. So I think it's pretty cool. It's alkaline water as well. But y'all more than welcome to go on some rides for the pedal bike as well as the carriages. And I'm excited to see who I can work together and partner with launching it.
Let's get like a founder crew together and go ride that stuff.
Yeah, let's do it, man. This is great. Hey, King Jones, thank you so much for everything you're offering. We got a real entrepreneur here. He's got some real stuff, some real alpha. Let's do this. Let's check it out, see what we can do. All right, you guys, well, let's get Raphael to come on up and talk to us about New Book. Caught me off guard there. I'm like, what's New Book?
Hi, everyone. My name is Raphael Kartaszyński, like a very difficult last name. I'm originally from Poland, as you can probably notice. Some of you may know me. I'm around like in the ecosystem since 6 years already. I call myself serial entrepreneur. I'm also mentor investor. I build companies in medtech, gaming, education, even pizza truck, right? So like this kind of contraptions are like kind of close to me because I like to experiment. I also mentor for Startup NV, Startup Vegas, Founders Institute, Select USA. But yeah, like as you told, I want to tell you about a book I'm working on. It's called Grow Into It. And it's not about another fairy tale startup story, right? It's about how it is in real world, right? How to is to build business with hardship, with grind. How it is for you all, for us all, right? How it looks like, Uh, back when I was a kid, back in Poland, we didn't have much. I remember we had very old, rusty car, but most often didn't work. And one of the things that kind of stick with me was when it broke outside of my high school. And I had to help my dad, push it to start it. And I was a kid, right? I was like a teenager. Like I didn't know better. For me, it was embarrassing. It was sad and bad, right? But it stuck with me, right? But it's not. You cannot wait for perfect circumstances, right, to start. You know what you've got. And with that kind of mindset, a few years later, with my dad, we found a medtech company. We didn't have any money. We didn't have any connections, no roadmap. We just had a idea for a product actually, persistence and trial and error. And nowadays, today, this company serves customers in over 110 countries. It has over 100 products in its offering. Some of those products are unique globally. It's like a leader in its field, and so it's kind of like we are proud of what we built. But it was not easy. It was not perfect. It was not smooth, right? It's, as I call it, I had my success, but I had my failures. I had a lot of failures. I learned by doing. I learned by breaking things. I learned by, the hard way. And this is what my book is all about. It's for founders, but build companies in the real world. No VC funding, no perfect pitches. No safety nets, just grit, staying there, showing up. That's what I kind of want to cover. I want to show you some lessons, right? That I learned, but also lessons from the world. How to validate your product in an easy way. How to stay in it, even if everything's alone. How to stay focused if everything around you falls apart, right? We all been there, right? And how to lead, how to be a leader without pretending that we have all the answers, and how to scale without losing your soul. So it's not only about me, right? It's not only my story, but it's also many of your story, right? If you ever felt behind, uncertain, or that you are working each day, just figuring things out, this is for you. I want this book to, make you feel less alone. Because when you are a founder, when you are an entrepreneur, you are alone. So I want this book to give you kind of guidance, maybe have some easier path for you. I want this book to remind you, but growth isn't about having things figured out. It's about showing up. It's about staying in the game and continuously growing into it. So guys, if it resonates with you, I have some QR codes here with my website. It's grow and also growintoit.com works. So I will leave some QR codes if it resonates with you. If you want to follow this journey, if you want to connect with me, find me on LinkedIn, find me here, find me on the website, sign up for newsletter. And thank you for showing up here. Just keep building, keep pushing forward. You don't have to have every answer. You don't have to have everything figured out. You just have to start to build something. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you, Raphael Kartasinski, with his new book, Grow Into It. It sounds like for being a good entrepreneur in there. So thank you so much for that. We appreciate it. All right, guys. Well, we are going to get started now. This is the 4-year anniversary of Tech Alley, and it is going to get started now. Are you guys ready? Woo! Let's get this education going. Let's start sharing these ideas. Let's start talking. We're going to start at 11 o'clock, which is just about now. And we're going to do Who's Got My Money with Kurt Walker in the theater. So if you guys want to catch that amazing talk, head over to the theater now. Innovation Essentials, hosted by UNLV, Rachel Gomez. That'll be in Suite 150. Also Agile MV, Will Wang. I did see you here today, Will. Oh, he's in the room already. All right, Will. So head over to Suite 145, and those are all in the theater hallway heading down there. Las Vegas AI Meetup with Timothy May. We also have Derek Jameson co-hosting that meetup this morning. And we also have the wonderful Raphael Karsaniski with his new book. If you want to take that on, please check it out. Last one, Ask a Startup Attorney, Caleb Green. Nice shirt. He's got the green shirt on today. He'll be hanging out in Costera Taverna. Just kind of hang out there if you want to chat with him for a little bit. Then we'll be doing lunches at noon or 12:15. Come on over. We'll get some food. Make sure you scan the QR code so you can get your ticket and come on in. And then we'll continue events at 1:15. Demo times, Josh Stacy in the theater, and I did see Josh. Also, we have Las Vegas Drones in Suite 115, Social Marketing with Jackson Wright in Suite 155, User Experience and Product Design with Valerie Kahn in Suite 145, and Las Vegas Python with Adam Engler. And at 2:45, we have Sin City Programmers with Gabriel Burgos in the theater, and Tech Alley Youth Hour with Lee Jackson in Suite 145. The Untold Truth About SEO, Eric Lacoste in Suite 150. And then, of course, me, Blockchain Self-Custody, James Roop in the Journey Gallery. Come on, guys, don't miss it. This is really interesting stuff. I'd love to show you a trick or two on how blockchain works. All right, you guys, that's it for the announcements this morning. Please join and have fun. Make sure you talk to somebody. Make a new friend. Welcome to Tech Alley. The 4-year anniversary is on. All right, you guys, have a great day today. Woo!
because all the things we've been saying have been
That's
muted.
okay.
Apparently, that's okay. So,
I don't know. It just popped up, so I don't know how long. That's
oh, maybe
been.
I just clicked it by accident. So they could explain why
and
nobody's
we're
watching
back.
now. So,
You'd think they'd put a comment. Anyways, no. So big things I've been working on. We had all the people in from Startup Champions Week last week. It was ecosystem builders from 4 or 5 other cities across the United States, really to come in and look at the things that we're doing well here in Las Vegas and Southern Nevada, and the things that we could be doing better. So there was a series of programming that was set up around that. That was really good. Getting ready for Global Entrepreneurship Congress here in 2 weeks. That'll be in Indianapolis, and then come back with a month to prepare for Freedom Week. And the stuff with Freedom Week is really taking off. So got more calls for speakers in for Vet Talks.
what were your big takeaways from Startup Champions last week?
So big takeaway for me is very personal. After I came back from Global Entrepreneurship Congress last year that was in Puerto Rico, I remember somebody wrote a post and they said, ecosystem builders is a type. And when I heard that, I was like, oh, like that's what I am. That's what I do. And the fun thing about that is oftentimes people don't know what ecosystem builders are actually doing or why they do it. So to me, it's like it's a deep level of community service. A lot of times we're taking on big projects that kind of are in the shadows of what's going on in the actual community until they come to life. So that was very personal for me because it was a room full of 25 people that know all the organizations that I've been working with on the global and the national level, where a lot of the people here don't understand it. So for me, very personal experience. Biggest takeaway for me is that we are continuing to show up on the national level, and people are starting to look at us a little bit differently, and it just ties in beautiful with my mission that we don't have to change the world, we just got to change the way the world looks at Las Vegas.
I want to pull on that thread a little bit. What does it mean to you to be an ecosystem builder? Because ecosystem builders are quite often, they are not founders, they are not investors, they are entrepreneurs in their own right quite often, but they're not necessarily the people who are served by the ecosystem.
Yeah. So I look at the closest word to it that people I think would resonate with is community builder. So, but not community building in the sense of like, I'm not working with shelters, homeless people for that sort of demographic, but also not working with kids or that type of community building, not working with churches and stuff like that, which is a totally different, there's so many different ways that people can leverage building community. However, ecosystem building really is with the purpose and design to create ecosystems for economic development purposes, right? So some of that stuff is going to be really working with policymakers. It is going to be helping create programs for people that have organizations that revolve around the economic development side of that whole conversation. So policymakers, city organizations, private sector organizations, whether it be venture capitalists or people that are looking at funding things, and also universities. But that's also that's where a lot of my energy comes from, and being a volunteer with Global Entrepreneurship Week, as long as I have, it's always been with that community building aspect, but very specific to how is this going to shape and affect our entrepreneurial ecosystem.
Okay. Any big things, any big actions you're taking out of that from last week and what you're moving forward doing?
I mean, the cool thing is they asked for me to be a part of Startup Champions Network. So what my action item would be on that, if it makes sense, we'll talk a little bit more at Indianapolis whenever I go out there to represent Nevada. I want to understand what that actually looks like. I'm volunteering for a lot of things right now, but if it makes sense, that's going to be a way for me to plug in very specifically with other ecosystem builders that are part of Startup Champions Network in other communities like Philly, Augusta. My big thing is, while there's so many people that are hyper focused on the changes that can be made here in this community, I am too. Sometimes my best energy and my best ideas are spent in other communities, understanding and just seeing one thing that, oh, what if we had anything like that here? If this was a big thing that I used the example of the Capital Factory in Austin, Texas. When I saw that for the first time, I was really blown away by, at one point, their challenge was, let's put everything under one roof. When they did that, there was an acceleration that happened in their ecosystem. Not saying that we have to do the same thing, but what could we do that's similar to that? And then I'll try to start figuring out ways to advocate for
Yeah,
that.
I mean, there are things we could do in pieces before we would be ready to put it all under one
Absolutely.
roof. I mean, there are things that started in Austin
Yep.
that were already existing, and Capital Factory put them all under one roof, and that was great.
Yep.
I think we have some basic building blocks we
Yep.
need to build first. So,
Yep.
so tell us. In Indianapolis, it's Global Entrepreneur Congress.
Yep.
And that is part of Global Entrepreneur Network.
Correct.
So tell us about Global Entrepreneur Network and Global Entrepreneur Congress and what you're excited about coming up in Indianapolis in a couple of weeks.
So Global Entrepreneurship Network is, so most people, as I've really pushed for Global Entrepreneurship Week here in Las Vegas and Southern Nevada for years, we have really been instrumental in helping people understand what that means. 10,000 events around the world all in 1 week. And then what we have past that is global entrepreneurship. This always happens. I can't think of my head.
Sorry, I'm just trying to keep all these
No,
multiple things
you're
flowing.
good. Do you want to get these guys on? Yeah.
You guys want to jump on?
I can't think in my head whenever it's all good.
Yeah, bring them over. We can talk to Dave after.
Yeah.
We'll fill this in after. Come on over. So we've got a couple of guests coming over here. They're going to fill us in on what they're doing. We'll get back to filling Dave in later. Let me look at something real quick here. Right. Yeah, just send somebody over and we'll jump on with them. So yeah, we're getting a little organized here this morning, but we're gonna get some guests on here to fill us in on what they're doing. We'll bring them to Tech Alley today. While we're doing that, let me make a plug again for coming on down here to Tech Alley. If you're in Las Vegas, we are down here. There are all kinds of talks. You heard the rundown going on right now. Kurt Walker's doing Who's Got My Money, helping people find ways to fund their startup, which goes beyond doing equity investment, giving up equity for money. There are a lot of different ways, and Kurt talks about all of them in his Who's Got My Money sessions. What else is going on right now? It's escaping me what the other sessions are that are going on, but we have a lot of great sessions going on right now. We have crypto sessions going on later today. Caleb Green is doing his Ask a Startup Attorney Q&A today. So he's doing that right now. So if you're interested in tech, if you're interested in crypto, if you're interested in startups, if you're interested in AI, if you're interested in any aspects of tech, come on down to Taverna Costera with the corner of Charleston and Maine, and we are doing Tech Alley today. So we're gonna get our guest on right here. So have a seat.
Hey, how are you doing?
I'm Jason.
Rafael.
Rafael, tell us all about. You have a book coming out, I guess.
Yes.
So
yes.
tell us all about it.
Yeah, it's like it's a book for entrepreneurs, kind of like based on my story. You know, like you're at this point at some point in your life, right, when you want to give back, when you kind of like want to tell your story and maybe help others. Especially that I mentor a lot.
Are you an entrepreneur? You're a tech entrepreneur?
Yeah.
So
I'm, as I told my story right during the presentation, I came from Poland. I came here in 2019 while growing my medtech company. But as a kid back in Poland, we didn't have much. We had like a very old car, but broke a lot. And what stuck with me, right? But story kind of like what I built my future on was the situation when that car broke in front of my high school. And I had to help my dad kind of push it, to get it going. I was teenager, right? So it was kind of, hard on me, right? Because it's like
Yeah.
you're feeling
It's
ashamed,
it's
right?
look, when you're a teenager, it's a little embarrassing that your family's car breaks down in front
Yeah.
of school, right? When you're an adult, you're like, yeah, well, the car broke down. Who cares,
Yeah,
right?
it's like everybody sees it's like a piece of
Right,
crap, right?
yeah.
So, yeah. So, but it kind of stuck with me, right? But and the lesson from I took from it was that you can't wait for the right circumstances, right? You have to push with what you got, right? You have to
Mhm.
try to do well with what you have been given, and that's like kind of what we did with my dad. Some years later, we founded a medtech company.
Okay.
Yeah, so we
And what a lot of people don't know, because we get real focused on America here in America,
Mm.
Poland has a really vibrant tech community.
yeah, it's getting more and more vibrant, right? It's still like much far away, like in terms of like VC funding and
Mhm.
things. Like when we founded it in 2007, we didn't have nothing. We had no money,
Mhm.
we had no connections, no roadmap. We just have a idea for a product. We have persistence, and we just figure it out, right, as we go. I remember, like I always say the story, like it like kind of like aligned with when we were getting married with my wife,
Mhm.
and I remember like investing all the money we got from the wedding as a gift into the company, right?
Mhm.
To start kind of like to buy the first machine for the company. Now this company is serving customers in 110 countries.
Mhm.
It has more than 100 products in its offer. Some of the products it does are unique on a global scale.
Mhm.
So it's kind of like a leader on its market, But the story, the road was not easy. It was not perfect.
It never is, right?
Yeah,
And that's
yeah.
what that's the trap of entrepreneurship. It looks
Yeah.
like it's easy for you see the success stories. It looks like it's easy
Yeah.
from the outside, and then you get into it and you go, wow, this is a lot harder than I thought,
Yeah,
right?
you never see the grind. You never see sleepless nights. You never see like the stress that
Mhm.
hits you, right? Will I be able to make it to the next month?
Yep.
Will I be able to pay my employees?
Right.
So it's all about that, right? But like what kind of keeps me going is that I like it, right?
Mhm.
I like being independent, right? If I fail because
Mhm.
because of me, right? It's better. I know, in my opinion, it's like I've been an entrepreneur for most of my life. It's kind of better than working for, it's better to work on your dream than on somebody else's dream, right?
Yeah.
In a way. That's why like
It's not easier, but it's better, right?
it's I think it's like it depends on like how you are built, right? Internally.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
What's your attitude, right? Some people like working for others, and if there weren't such people, like we wouldn't have anybody to employ, right?
Mhm.
Not everyone can be an entrepreneur, right? Somebody has to work on the other side, right?
Mhm.
It depends on your personality. Like my personality is entrepreneurship.
Mhm.
I like risk. I like showing up. I like kind of like grinding. It's scary
Mhm.
very often, right? It's hard, but also it's fun, right? So like work hard, play hard kind
Yeah.
of situation. If you make it, then you can play hard,
Yeah.
right? But
And now you're mentoring other startup founders.
yes, yeah. So when I moved here to US 6 years ago, I was fascinated with entrepreneurship way of thinking here because it's completely different to what I figured out in Poland, right?
Mhm.
I didn't have like anyone to mentor me. We had to figure things out on myself. I did my MBA back in Poland
Mhm.
with University in Illinois, and that was kind of like a changing moment for me because that MBA was with professors from US,
Hmm.
and you cannot imagine more like a difference in attitude, in like how it was like presented, right? All the Polish kind of classes were
Mhm.
about Excel, about numbers,
Mhm.
very boring. But when US entrepreneurship professor arrived, they were like, oh, use cases, case
Yeah.
studies. That was so cool, and it changed kind of my look into this.
I did my MBA here at UNLV when
Yeah.
I got out of the Air Force, and yes, it was case study.
Yeah.
It was almost like the numbers were secondary. Don't worry about the
Yeah.
numbers, right? Just
Yeah.
just let's talk about the case study.
Yeah, and I love it. That kind of like, if that was like normal MBA,
Mhm.
like what is in Poland, I probably wouldn't be where I am. But
Mhm.
those professors from Illinois kind of changed my my look on this. Like when I decided I want to this is my road. This is what I want to do.
What was the biggest takeaway from your MBA that helped you as an entrepreneur?
It was connections, I think, but the knowledge. I think this takeaway of how the world really works. Because, like before that, I'm from a very small town, in Poland, very close to the Ukrainian border. It's like very often it's called like Poland B, right? And so we didn't have like a big universities there, I don't know, I never met investor there. There's no investors, right? There's like you can go for a loan to a bank, but what's investor, right? So that was my kind of like a first kind of like crash with real American way of thinking about entrepreneurship. That was like something completely different, because back in Poland I was kind of used to creating companies like a legacy, right? Something that I can leave to my kids.
Yep.
I never thought like the way it's here. Okay, let's build something, let's sell and move forward.
Exit strategy,
Yeah,
right? That's
kind of.
one of the first questions they ask is, what's your exit strategy? It's like,
yeah.
I thought I was just building the company to sell stuff, right?
Yeah. No, but what the funny thing is, I had like a kind of like I make a circle, made a circle in my thinking. So when I came here, I was so fascinated with with entrepreneurship, how it works. I started mentoring, I started supporting angel investing as well, with Fund Envy, with Startup Envy, with Text Code Angels, with SBDC, with San Diego Angel Conference. And when I mentor, like, and more, like I met the situation that, okay, there's a company, they have a great idea, but they fall into this trap of kind of like only looking for investment, right? So they focus so much on this that they forget about running the business.
That's what I found too. Is they get so wrapped up in where's the money going to come from. I always tell people you have to have two plans. You have to have a plan to do this without investment, and then you have to have the plan that you pitch to investors of, this is how I'm going to pour rocket fuel in the fire with your money. But you got to build the fire.
Yeah, exactly.
So you got to keep the fire going without the investor money.
Exactly. And that's how I mentor now, right? I tell them, listen, like, investment is very hard to find. You can it's usually a 100 conversation before you get the first check, right? So it's like a full-time job to do this. I tell them, like, you don't have to be a rocket ship. You don't have to be a unicorn, right? In my opinion, it's better to kind of build a business that you like, that gives you money, that supports your vision, that supports your mission, that supports your team. Investment will come naturally, right?
Yeah. What I also have found is founders get so wrapped up on the idea. And look how great the idea is. Look how beautiful. Look how elegant.
Oh yeah.
And investors don't care about. At least most investors.
Yeah.
Investors care about the opportunity.
Yeah.
Right. They care about, how is this going to make me money. I don't.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I kind of like. What I also like. My way of mentoring and kind of like helping is, I like to be this like a devil's advocate, right? So I go into the conversation because I know how it is, how I was, right? When I had brilliant ideas in my head, right? And I went much too far into implementing them. I spent
too much in the weeds, right?
Yeah, spent too much time, too much effort, too much money. I should, if I had somebody like somebody who would question me, right? Ask the correct questions to kind of challenge my idea, to kind of like, bring it to reality, right? Not in my kind of entrepreneurial like hype state of mind, but like let's do it. I would like save so much money, so much time and effort. So this is what I like to mentor. I'd like to tell them, like, in entrepreneurs, like in a clear way. Like, I don't think it's like investable, for example, right? I think you just try bootstrap it, try make it a business, right? It's so hard to convince somebody to invest money into you. Invest your own time, right? Be your own boss, try to do it, and money will come in a natural way. But because if you are, I learned that the more you try to do something, the farther you are from it, right? And I think it's maybe you also had like this kind of experience that if we try to do something, it usually doesn't work. But if you don't have like intention into it, right? If you don't care about it so much, right? It kind of stops working.
You've got to I think you've got to focus on the process. You got to focus on getting up and turning the crank every day and doing the things you need to do. But when you're so focused on the outcome, that's where like you can spend a lot of energy being focused on the outcome. And I'm not meeting that goal yet, or I'm not where I want to be yet.
Exactly.
And we're all just much better served getting up and going, okay, what's on my list of things to do today? What's the
Exactly.
most important thing I need to do today to make this move forward? Great, I'm doing that first.
Yeah, exactly. Because like if you know, it will eat you up. You'll get depression, right? From only thinking, oh, I'm not there yet. I'm not there yet.
Yep.
I have to. What will happen next week? What will happen in a month, right? So that's problematic, and that's also something that I'm covering in my book, right? So
Yeah.
kind of my experience and lessons, hard lessons, like lessons, like School of Hard Knocks, kind of. What works, what doesn't work, right? Where you should stop, where you should continue, and how to be sane at the same time, right?
Yeah.
How to maintain this mental stability. And actually, that's like a big part of my book. This this depression, like the loneliness of an entrepreneur.
Yeah, it can be. It can be really lonely. So is your book like your story with lessons intermixed, or is it kind of focused on
It's more-
lessons for entrepreneurship with your stories intermixed?
It's this way, like so.
Yep.
It's more about like lessons about entrepreneurship with my stories built in. So I'm talking about strategies. I'm talking about golden circle. I'm talking about anti-fragile concept. Talking about Jim Collins and his Good to
Great,
Yeah.
yeah.
So I'm trying to give the reader this kind of idea of different concepts that we have in the entrepreneurship. I use a lot of examples. I use a lot of big and small companies I know, and most of them, everybody knows, right?
Yep.
But also small and big companies. So give you this kind of like holistic knowledge, holistic view of the things that we are trying to do. So I hope that if with that knowledge, you'll be more prepared. It's like also like if you know Greeny, right? And he wrote like mastery, and and we know that to be a master in something, you need to spend 10,000 hours on this. And I believe
10,000 hours of deliberate practice.
Yes.
Right. Not just 10,000 hours doing whatever. You
Yeah.
got to be focused on it, and you got to be trying to improve during that 10,000 hours.
Yeah, and I have this feeling that I have this kind of like 10,000 hours and like a mastery in kind of like thinking about especially my business, right? And I know what works, what not doesn't work, and I know how much kind of being exposed to different ideas, to different concepts in entrepreneurship, but also neuroscience, psychology. These are also things that I'm touching because they are part of the business. Because
they're important.
Business is people, right? Customers are people. So how can we not talk about neuroscience?
Right.
How can we not talk about sociology? How cannot we not talk about psychology? Right. So I'm also touching this kind of subject. I'm giving you some ideas what you should read, what maybe you should kind of go into to learn more about something. Because I'm like my parents, like what made me be here, because I was born in post-communist country, right?
Right.
Very poor part of the country. We didn't have nothing. So chances for me being here are minuscule, right? The amount of things that have happened for me to be able to hear us are enormous. And many of us here, Americans, don't acknowledge how great we have just by being born here. You cannot imagine how many Polish people are dreaming about being able to be here.
It is as an American, it wasn't until I went to parts of the world like Iraq and Qatar deployed with the Air Force that I realized how good we really have it here.
Yeah, but even Poland, right?
Yeah.
You would think it's like a growing growing European economy. But again, like a lot of people are trying to come here because mentally, mentally, I'm more built like an American person, because another lessons that I'm talking about in the book is difference in cultures. And if you know about Hofstadter and his research into cultural differences, there is something that's called cultural index. So he figured out like 6 different kind of values that describe a culture, and one of like 2 big difference between Polish people and American people are distance to power. Distance to power means how hierarchical we are.
Yep.
In US, we have very close distance to power.
Right.
We talk like friends, right? We very near each other. If it was Poland, we will be sir, right? It will be.
Yep. This is something when I went to Iraq, part of my job was to work with the State Department on foreign military sales. So we went through all this diplomatic and State Department training as part of that deployment. And that distance to power was, and this was 2012. This was over 10 years ago. Distance to power was one of the things I talked about is, as an American, you're used to this. This isn't how it works in other countries, especially in the Middle East where we were going. So, and we were in a class with people who were going to all different countries. It wasn't just all of us going to Iraq. So yeah, I mean, distance to power I was easily in my 40s before I'd ever heard that term.
Right.
And it was so eye-opening that even just that one thing can make a huge difference in a culture.
Yeah. Another thing is risk averseness.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Like Poland, it's like on scale of 0 to 100. Poland is like 92.
Yep.
US is like 30.
Yeah.
So it's a gap, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a gap. So I always was like I was never risk averse. I like taking risks, very often stupid risks, but never like a stupid risk like risk my life. But in business I like risk. But in Poland it's not usual, right? So that's why you have to be like fit the drawer, kind of like you have to fit the box in Poland. That's why I always wanted to live in US because it's something different. For me, it's like a closer mindset to how I was raised.
Yeah.
Like my mom is great because she is like the person who's like, okay, like government job, stay at university, it's a government job, right? And my dad is always entrepreneur. He was always trying to do something. He was always trying to do something extra.
This is why the
outside of
broken
work.
car all the time.
Yeah. No, it's like he always like, but I think it motivated him a lot too.
Yeah.
Like, but you have to understand the difference, right? I always like to show you the difference. Like for example, in salaries, when I did my PhD at university, when I finished, I got a raise, $5.
Yep.
$5 raise for having PhD. I was making like $400 a month. So you can you can just like it's different world, right?
Absolutely, 100%.
So I'm so happy to be here, and that's also like part of the story of the book, right? But as I told you, like these are like general stories, like lessons from psychology, neuroscience, business, and intertwined with my kind of history, my kind of like lessons, but not only from Poland, because like when I moved here, as I told before, I was my first business here was a food truck. Then I helped with a school, private school. Then gaming, then technology. Now I'm working in a community that is helping companies from all over the world come to US and be successful here. Like now we have some Polish companies coming here. So that's kind of like what I like to do. Like I like to give back, but I also like to help others come here and experience how great it is to make business here, especially in Nevada.
That's awesome. Well, is there anything else you want to leave us with about the book? Where can people get it? What's the name?
It's the title is Grow Into It. Grow Into It. So I have two websites.
Okay.
It's growintoit.com or growinto.it.
Okay, growinto.it or growintoit.com. You can't go wrong with either one of those.
Yes. Or you can just look me up on LinkedIn, and you will also find the book.
LinkedIn is great. All right, well, thank you for joining us today. It's a pleasure to talk to you. Welcome to Tech Alley.
Yeah, thank you.
All right.
Thank you so much.
I am going to try to adjust this because I don't know. You did, yeah. All right, folks, let's see if we can, we're going to try to troubleshoot this Wi-Fi signal a little bit because for some reason we have really terrible Wi-Fi, and we've had this the last couple of months since we've been outside. Come on over. I'm trying to troubleshoot my Wi-Fi signal. I don't know why the Wi-Fi signal is so terrible. When I do this at home, like the last 2 months, I've been like, I don't know what's going on here. Is it like in the near field of the antenna? Is it blocked by something? Is it? And then I get it home and I test it, and it works great.
Probably a lot of interference.
But I'm guessing it's got to be something with the signal here. So next month we might have to look into hardlining it right to the 5G.
Yeah.
Because it's not. You see, it's my Wi-Fi
yeah.
signal, not my 5G signal. Seems to be,
probably-
Now
yeah.
it could be. I mean, that could be from a quality perspective. That could be part of it. But
Yeah.
anyway, welcome to radio frequency chat here on here at
We
Tech
do
Alley.
Morse code now.
I bet you didn't know you were going to be getting a very technical piece right now, because we don't typically dive too deep into the tech piece, because we try to get you to come down
Yep.
to see the tech piece here. So how the hell are you, man?
Good. Keeping busy. How about
Yeah,
you?
good. Busy. So
You still got 2 blog posts you have to rewrite.
I know I still have a bunch of things I have to do. So
It's okay.
and I started a new video project too.
I saw that.
I
That's
started
great.
we're
Yeah.
doing I haven't talked about it on here yet, so I may as well now. So I'm running every Monday. I'm going to do a quick rundown, 5 to 10 minutes tops, on what's going on in the startup scene here.
Excellent.
So who got funded, who's moved to town, what they're doing. New companies that have started. Hopefully not too many companies that have closed their doors.
No.
And
Yeah.
then what events happened last week and what events are coming up. So
That's excellent.
So and then a
yeah.
little clip from a Leader's Mindset interview with someone in the tech community here.
Excellent. Very
So
good
yeah,
idea.
just a real quick and dirty, something everyone can go to start off their week.
Yep.
And in just a couple of minutes, find out everything they might have missed and what's coming up, so they don't miss it.
That's excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent idea. Very good idea.
So
So yeah, today's presentation is going to be about social media. How followers are not indicative of traffic.
I love that. Give us a preview. Why are followers not indicative of traffic?
There's a couple reasons. One, you can't really put a monetary value on a follower.
Mhm.
And there's a couple things that people need to consider when they are told, hey, just get more followers and people will go to your business. Well, the big hard truth is that you don't actually control or own your audience on any social platform. It's not yours. It's the platform.
No, you're kind of theirs.
Yeah, you're in their ecosystem. So it's like handing a flyer to a bouncer,
Right.
and hoping the bouncer gives it to everyone in the
Yeah.
club. You know what I mean? So a lot of people just need to understand that when it comes to starting a website and understanding all this stuff that people tell you that you need to have, the bare bones of it is, what are you going to do to acquire actual information
Mhm.
and actual customers, because they're yours at that point, whether that's the way that your web page is signed up, a drop in for an email,
Mhm.
a call to text, or call to call you, then they become yours.
Mhm.
But relying on the fact that you paid for 5,000 followers and now you posted something and nothing happens, it's like, well, who's the sucker? You know what I mean? You kind of got suckered into that, but you have to learn how to grow things organically.
Yeah, and a lot of my understanding is a lot of social media platforms actually penalize you if you acquire too many followers too quickly in a way that looks like you bought them.
So we've talked about this before. It's the same philosophy with backlinks, right? You don't want to buy 1,000 backlinks in 3 months. You want to acquire them over time.
Yep.
So that the algorithm, which is called the rank brain algorithm of Google, sees that over time you've acquired reputable, qualified followers, reputable, qualified links,
Mhm.
therefore rewards you with higher rankings, right? If you pay for it, Google knows this. The platforms know that there are many businesses that rely on getting crap followers and then just selling the same stuff over and over
Mhm.
again, and they get their money, right? So it's I feel bad for people starting a website and just relying on what they read from Google and other people that aren't at raising up the levels by telling them the same kind of antiquated stuff, right? If you learn how a website works and growing naturally, you will naturally grow.
Yeah.
It just takes time, right? So there's a lot of things when it comes to SEO and social media that butt heads, but there's a lot of things that they work in conjunction with. There's a lot of things that social media and SEO actually do very well together in.
Okay.
Right. And that's search intent, right? So if you want to get qualified leads or qualified people to follow your content, well, do the research and actually write something for search intent, right? Information, transactional, commercial, navigational.
Mm-hmm.
What is it that you want to say? How are you going to say it better than other people?
Mm-hmm.
And then let people know this is how I operate my business, what I feel, blah, 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 blah. But say it so well
Mm-hmm.
with thought and conviction and experience that you're forcing them to
Mm-hmm.
want to learn more about you. That's how it's supposed to work.
So, without giving too much of your talk away, what can we do? What should we be thinking about if we want to say things well?
So you want to understand that, okay, so you get to a point where it becomes like, okay, what is your business? So say we're a bike shop.
Yep.
You want
Bike shop folks, pay attention, take notes.
bike shops, right? Big one, because there's a lot of moving parts with a bike shop and anything that's got a retail space, but a bike shop is a great example. If you know that, first of all, you've been in the bike industry for a decade, that this next few months, certain types of bikes are going to sell more.
Right.
You want to start your posting for the future today, right? What are the bikes that people are going to want to look to buy in August, in July, in September? And write the post based upon your experience that this is what's popular in August, September, and July. So you're not necessarily selling the bike. You're selling the experience that you have that these bikes are going to be popular. That's search intent, because
Right, so-
that's actually attractive.
Right. So here in Las Vegas, it might be mountain biking gets real popular. Mountain bikes get popular in the fall because it cools down,
Exactly,
right?
right.
Whereas, for the summer months, the stuff that the bike shop might be selling right now or
Exactly.
renting right now is like those beach cruiser kind
The
of
beach-
things
yep,
that
yep.
people are just going to go up and down Main Street here on like a Tuesday night after it's dark on one of those group rides,
Right.
right?
Another thing that people miss out on, and it's a huge search intent tool, and it's also an EAT, experience, expertise, authoritative, trust with, is not necessarily selling the bike, but selling the community that you're a part of that the bike also belongs to.
Mhm.
That is way advanced SEO,
Yep.
because you're not necessarily saying this is the bike that you need to fulfill that problem. This is the bike that gets you into this community.
Yep.
And we know in the last almost 5 years of a decade, a lot of people aren't social anymore.
People want to belong,
People
right?
wanna belong to
It's
something,
been
right?
missing from a lot of people's
So-
lives. The pandemic kind of separated us all, and people have really struggled because I think that skill for a lot of people, especially a lot of younger folks, didn't need that skill.
Yep.
Right. Their lives had been very curated, between school and social and all that kind of stuff and things like social media. The muscle hadn't been worked for a lot of
Right.
people, and then that it all got taken away, and it's been a little bit of a challenge for everybody getting back out there.
Yeah. And again, a business that uses their business but expands it into the community in which they belong in, that is a brand. That starts that brand conversation for
Yep.
that company. And that is ahead of just someone that has a garage of bike tires and bike seats and bike frames and just wants to sell quantity, right? You want to sell something beyond the quantity so that people come back
Right.
to your business. Right?
And there's room for bikeparts.com, right? There's
Exactly.
room for that business out there, but that's a big like wholesale kind of business, right?
And that's building into that ecosystem. You have to take away the fact that this is transactional, right? Transactional. I need this type of bike chain. I need this bike tower. This is the
Yep.
highest ranking website. I'm going to go buy
That's
it.
for people who are already in the community.
Exactly. But if you want to build a brand, which is the other one, is not that it's not a brand, it's just transactional brand, but a commercial brand, that's what separates. That brings loyalty and customers and people coming back and people saying, oh, what about this event or what about that event? You start growing more plants around your central hub plant,
Mhm.
and now you got yourself a garden. And that's really advanced SEO. That's beyond within the last few months of understanding how social media and SEO and web pages work. That's using everything together. Very, very few businesses, first of all, have heard it. Second of all, implement it. They It's just they don't know where to
Yeah,
start.
well, and it's hard, like you talked about a few minutes ago. You can go search all this on the internet, and you can try to follow the advice you find on the internet. The 7 quick things you can do to get your website SEO ready today. But there's a deeper level of knowledge that comes with applying even those 7 basic tips, right?
Yep. And it comes down to what the business owner wants first. An SEO like myself can come up with 1,000 ideas, right? I can come up with 10,000 on top of those 1,000. It doesn't matter if it's not going to be passionately followed and disciplined in its execution by the owner of the website.
Right.
It's got to be something that the owner wants to be done. If that's the case, I can fulfill that will. No question. Point me in a direction and go. But if a person says, I don't know what I want to do with this, I don't know isn't a powerful keyword. I can't rank for that yet. You know what I mean?
So what should owners be doing? What are the focused and disciplined actions they should be taking when someone like you says, here's what you need to do?
So the first thing is making sure that the website loads fast. We don't get to have this conversation about community and size of the website if the website doesn't even load fast. If it's got movies and rollover animations, and sorry, we're not having that conversation.
Put it on your social media, right?
Yep.
Put it if they link to your social media if they want to see it, right?
It doesn't matter if it doesn't load fast.
Don't worry, your social media will load fast.
Number 2, make sure that you have a direct understanding of what search intent is, because you're not just going to be going after, I want to do community of bike shops in Las Vegas. No, you have to do other keywords. Fastest bike, most affordable bike shops near me. Those are other keywords that build a portfolio to go after
like
those.
bike riding groups, like that kind of stuff.
You have to build more than just the one thing that you want it to do. You have to build more of an obtuse understanding of your industry.
So it sounds like what some of our keywords need to be is the words that are peripheral around our core.
Which brings in an advanced SEO element called topical mapping. Topical mapping is taking what a business is and associating all the words that are associated with the industry and putting out content that fulfills those ideas, those words, right? You're not going to rank number 1 because you put bike shops near me on your webpage. You're not doing it. But if you developed other words beyond that, within that, it helps raise your ranking of that word, right? So topical mapping is the environment in which you're going to start planting little things, little blogs, little posts, little words, redirects, all these little things that start to add better soil to your plant.
And this is content that needs to be on your website.
Yep, content that needs to be on your website. It needs to have an understanding, and ultimately you want to look at topical mapping as opposed to like 3 or 4 of your competition. What is it that they're saying along those words that you can say better and then say it better, right? But you have to give it time, and you also have to have blogs. You have to write. You have to let people know who you are, why you're important, and what is it that they need to know about your industry that you know that they don't.
You've got to show people why you're special, and
Exactly.
and you need that in blogs or written content
Absolutely.
for 2 reasons, right? One, because the algorithm will find it and then put it in front of people who are interested in that.
Yep.
And then 2, it's got to be something about you that is compelling that they say, I want to learn more about this bike shop. I want to go down there, right?
Right. And that's why I believe every business owner, every business website owner, they need to have a fundamental elementary understanding of how to sell. You have to sell. You have to know how to use words to convey persuasion, to convey urgency, to convey this is the solution to your problem. If you don't know how to sell, it's not really going to blossom the way you want it to.
Yeah, and it's hard. It's hard for new entrepreneurs
Right.
to. I mean, there's a lot to it, and there's a lot to overcome.
Right. And then the third element is always going to be backlinks. A business website needs to be pushed out into other places, other directories, other industries, even national industries, national directories. You have to take what you have, because there's functions and you have good wording, but you have to let people know that you exist.
Yep.
And by backlink development, you're forcing Google to say, all right, this person actually cares. This person is actually putting in
Yep.
the effort to acquire more backlinks. We're going to reward you by ranking you up higher, right? That's the end of the game.
And
you know?
and that's a skill that takes a lot of time to develop, and there are a lot of tools, and I mean that sounds like a very simple thing if I just need to get backlinks from other websites to my, but I mean you put a lot of effort into that,
Oh
and
my
there are a
gosh.
lot of tools that
Oh
you
my gosh,
use.
yeah.
You know, you have to put a ton of effort into that. It's not something we would probably recommend that a business owner or a founder try to do on their own if they don't have the expertise.
You're absolutely right. Even with as long as you and I have been working together, how many backlinks have I worked on getting you?
You've worked
into?
incredibly hard for the and we're just, I mean, it's been a few years and we're just now getting to the point where they're just kind of showing up going,
Yep.
oh look, there's one we didn't even ask
Right,
for.
right, because of the work that was in looking at the best bang for your buck for a certain type of backlink, it manifests itself over time to grow, and you don't even have to really do
Yeah.
much about it, right? But the ultimate goal is if you have a business brand and say you want to be featured on the Wall Street Journal, first of all, how many SEOs do you want to hire to get it done? But it's possible. But the thing is, just because you get on there once, your traffic will skyrocket to the thousands, but then it'll come
For a
right
day.
Back, yeah, then it'll come right back to where it
Yep.
was before, because just because you have associated your brand with a national, whether it's a college, Wall Street Journal, MSNBC, any of the big major high definition websites, that's great for the PR. That's not great for the development and growth of the business.
Yeah, so you know, if you want to go on a date with a supermodel and post it on your social media, that's going to get a lot of views,
Of course.
and a lot of likes one day. But if you're not dating her next week,
Yep.
you're probably back to your 2 or 3 views and likes on
Right.
your
And
social
it's
media
not to say
posts,
that You
right?
shouldn't go for it. You should absolutely try to go for it. If you
Mhm.
ever got LeDuc leadership on MSNBC and you were able to do a video with them over, absolutely do it.
Yep.
And then put it on your website, put it in your posting, hold on to that
Yep.
virility for as long as you want, but understand that it's an energy drink. It does not.
So
It just
so
it comes and it goes.
So what is the strategy? What kind of sites should we be trying to backlink to so that we are eating healthy food, not drinking an energy drink?
Any local directory, especially here in Vegas, there's about 10 to 15 of them, depending on where the business is. So there's Henderson Chamber directories, there's Summerlin Chamber directories, there's Las Vegas proper. The local directories are huge, even Yellow Pages. As
Mhm.
much as we have turned our back on the actual Yellow Pages itself, it is a very easy backlink to get
Yeah,
online.
don't sleep on Yellow Pages because
Oh,
people
it's
people
huge.
still go. It's not called yellowpages.com anymore. It's like YP, whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't even know. It's not even called YP,
YP
anymore.
Pages, I think, or
It's
something like that.
whatever it is now. They have a huge database
Right.
because they've had it for decades.
And it's 20 minutes.
Yep.
It's 20 minutes to fill it out. It's so easy to do. I mean, and I feel bad when I look at when I do an audit and I don't see it on there, and I'm like I don't. And again, a lot of people just don't know.
But you know, you have one easy thing to do for the
Yeah,
client,
and
right?
It's as far as the numbers are concerned, yellowpages.com is a 76 domain rating, which is above like 75 million websites. It's above all of them.
That's what a domain rating is.
Yeah,
is
domain
the number
rating
is
is
how many millions of web
out of 100.
out of 100, right?
So if you want to look at a perspective, the number one website for the last 8 years is Facebook.
Yep.
Right? Domain rating of 100.
Mhm.
Backlinks are in the billions. The traffic alone is in the billions for Facebook. That's why it's been number one for the last 6 years. Yellow Pages is like under 100.
Mhm.
It's like 76. It still gets millions of views,
Mhm.
right? And it's 20 minutes. You fill out a name, address, physical location, and a website, and you're done. And then you do another backlink look later on in a couple days, and there it shows up.
Yep.
It shows up, and you get all of that traffic.
Right,
all
because
those
you
domains.
got to remember, Yellow Pages shows up in search. When people go in and type something for search, it shows up in search. It may not be where you would go to look for something, but when people type something into a search engine, Yellow Pages shows up, and results from Yellow Pages show up in search.
Yelp is always a good one, even though it is still just a website platform. If you can't get a Google My Business profile, then Yelp is the next best
Okay.
alternative. It still gives you the backlink. It's still a very powerful website, and you just may not have the options to get a Google My Business profile, so that you can't show up on the map pack. But with Yelp, you can show up on first page for certain industry inquiries. Chamber of Commerce, every single that's a guaranteed gimme. Depending on specifically here in Las Vegas, that integrates into the Metro, Henderson, and Urban, and the Latin Chamber. That's an easy one. You know, it's an easy directory to fill yourself into. You know, then after about 3 or 4 of the big major ones, now you kind of have to make a decision as far as with the thing called an aggregate.
So the first principle is your local players,
Local
right?
players, local industries.
Yep.
Get those look. And the thing is, it's easy to look. Just look up industry directories for blah blah blah.
For whatever town you're in.
You'll get a list,
Yep.
and right there, that's you screenshot the list or you link it, and you get it done in a couple hours.
Yep.
After that, depending on if you have a brick and mortar or an office or you're in a service area, may depend on where you go with. It's called an aggregate. An aggregate is like 4-star, New Star. These are programs that are thousands of directories, but a lot of them associated with certain things. So say we had a bike shop.
Yep.
We don't really care about the outside element of the service area of the bike shop. We want people to come in through the door.
Yep.
So there's an aggregate called New Star, which puts our bike shop into Uber.
Okay.
And a Lyft. So now we're in their directory. Someone looking for a bike shop that can get an Uber to our place. That's huge.
That's a big deal, yeah.
Some people don't even know that exists. Like, well, how do I get into Uber? Well, you got to put in for an aggregate.
So and these are things you go apply for.
You apply for, or there are platforms that you can pay to do it. It just depends on, you know, where you want this to go. It's important, but it's not for everybody. There are a lot of businesses that don't care about whether they want Uber or Lyft or, you know, Uber Eats or all those things, because they're not a brick and mortar. They're a service area or an office, right? So there's, even in the backlinks area, so much that can be looked at and direction can move through. So just got to be, first of all, you got to find an SEO, and you got to let them know, you got to ask that SEO what they think the backlink profile should look like.
Right. So this isn't something you should try to do on your own.
You should try to do the easy stuff.
Okay.
You know, the yellow pages, the Yelp, the directories, industry directories. And even if I met and sat down with someone that was like, wanted to talk about backlinks, that's the first thing I would look at is, have you done this yet? And if they haven't, then we're having that discussion about getting that done quickly. After that, then comes, you know, and honestly, I'll be honest, if you get into one of the Las Vegas news websites, that's huge. UNLV, huge amount. I mean, Tech Alley got a link from UNLV about 2 years ago, and it still pulls in traffic from that link. That's
fantastic.
It's and it's funny thing is when I did that presentation, I don't think Josh knew. He's like, I had an article.
I didn't either. How would any of us know, right? I mean, that's the thing. This is some of the stuff that you know, you really have to be a pro to understand how it works, not just how it works and how to do it, but I mean, it's not really common knowledge. It's not like there's not a lot of founders out there going, oh, I got to work on my SEO stuff, right? Because you just don't know. You don't know what you don't know.
Exactly. And that's why, of course, I'm grateful to have the presentation, because it's time for people to know, especially in this city. Of all the cities where people are coming in all the time, we're seeing new faces and new businesses. Las Vegas could honestly build itself into a real knowledge pool of how SEO really works. It really could, to the point where like there could be more than just me that have a community understanding and a community obligation to let people know. You don't really need to pay attention to that. This is what you should look at first, and then grow into those other elements. But yeah, I see it all the time. I see it with, you know, audits for my own interests and industries that I look at. So
Go ahead, keep talking.
okay, yeah. No, it's an important element, but it's not something that a Joe Schmo, I want to sell this on a website. He doesn't have to know all those things that I've took years to learn and then work in experience, because that's really what I'm selling. And what I've done for you and for all of my other clients is it's the experience, not just the theory. Like we've tried that, it didn't work. Oh, we tried this and this worked. Oh, with that worked. Well, we'll see if we can move the needle into this direction next month. That's how SEO is supposed to work, right? And again, I could go into the AI element of it, but you know, AI is great. AI does a lot of really good things, but if you sat down in my presentation, you would see, wow, AI isn't that far yet. You know what I mean? It took another human to really.
You can't tell AI to go look at your website and do your SEO for you, right?
Right. It can just give you the numbers. It can just give you what it thinks and the numbers, right? But numbers are great. But there are SEOs like myself that look not just at your numbers, but the numbers of your competition and can disseminate it very quickly. Like, okay, if your competition, the person that leads your business for the core keyword of your business, and they're a franchise, some people are like, well, that sucks. No, it doesn't. It's actually a good thing, because they're so big, they're missing out on the things that you could capitalize on. So now you look at, okay, maybe they own that core keyword, but what can I add to that keyword that puts me at the top?
Right. And when you say
better?
own a keyword, nobody really owns a keyword. They just score really well
They
for
score
it.
for it, and over time, if you have qualified for that keyword long enough,
They're the one that shows up when people look for that keyword.
right underneath the sponsored ads and the local map pack and all that stuff, and even under the AI generated response now. And again, we see this all the time in case studies and heat mapping, is that people, for certain things, they scroll past the AI generated content, they scroll past the local map pack, and they go right to the first result.
Yeah,
right?
I won't click a sponsored link. I don't care if it's the one I want. I won't click the sponsored one. You're not making more ad money, Google. I will skip it and go down to where it shows up as the non-sponsored link.
Yeah. I
Take
get it.
that.
You're right. No one actually owns a keyword forever. However, there are industries that have done very well over time, so that they franchise.
I mean, you essentially may as well own it. If you're the one that's showing up first, you may as well own that keyword, right? But it's not like people are out there buying these keywords and going, no one else can use this.
Right. It's not like that. And the thing is as a business website owner, you got to be. You kind of have to look at your competition seriously now, because this is Las Vegas. No one is in a vacuum here. Everyone is vulnerable. Everyone can win or lose traffic on their website by what they're not saying as opposed to what they are saying.
Now, let me ask you a question, because you have done an excellent job coming up with the keywords we should be using for my business. You work really hard on that. We look at them every month or every couple of months on we're doing well on this one, we're not doing well on this one. These are new ones we think we should use. What I do with that, and this is one of the ways I use AI, is when I create episode descriptions for YouTube, when I create social media posts based on those episode descriptions, right? All of it all starts with, like, I record a video, and then I take the transcript of that video and tell AI to create an episode description. And I tell it, and I plug in as part of my prompt, try to work in these keywords, and they're the ones that you want us to try to use on the website, right? So those keywords are going into my YouTube descriptions. And then when I plug it in to take that episode description and create a LinkedIn post and an Instagram post, same thing. Try to work in these keywords. Is that a good strategy? Is that helpful? Does that hurt the website? How does that work?
So, as far as if we looked at that element of AI as like a baseball game, you hit a single. It's a single, right? Now, if you want to hit a triple, if you want to hit a home run, there is ways in which we have to talk to AI that we would normally want to talk to a computer, right? So what you could do to start a home run type of content is look at those keywords that I gave you. Go to AI and say, I want to rank for multiple versions of these words.
Okay.
Take these words and expand them based upon being in Las Vegas, based upon training for leadership,
Okay.
conflict resolution. So you get a lot more words.
Okay.
Now, what you do is you take that list and you say, okay, my name is Jason LeDuc. I do this is my business. This is my business website. I want to start creating a multi-level campaign based upon these types of contents with these words.
Okay.
You see where this is going,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Now you're not telling AI what you want it to do. You're asking it to assess you.
Okay.
That's AI. That's the next level.
Yep.
So it's almost becoming like a therapist at a certain point, right? Help me help you.
Yeah.
You
Which
know?
which is a lot of what I use AI for is what's the content we should generate, right? Or one of the recent things I've been playing with AI is I'll take the 3 most popular videos in the last 28 days from my YouTube, and I'll say, okay, I want to create social media posts out of these. So watch the video, which really means look at the transcript of the video, right? And create a post, and then we put in like the keywords we're trying to.
Yep.
Right. And then what I have it do is I have it look at those 3 and they say, okay, now create a theme that we can put around this for the week, right?
Yep. So I've the AI, like I said, it's not going to be give me what I want.
Yep.
Tell me what you need me to do.
Yeah.
Very different conversation. But I've done this for myself just out of curiosity, and it works because you got to look at. It's kind of like building up the blocks for your business. AI is the opportunity to knock the blocks down and build it up in a different way. You may not agree with it, and there's going to be things that they suggest. You're like, no, I don't want to do that. That's just not right. That's good. That's a good thing, right? Because then you can add more. Say, well, I don't think you understand that this is what I don't want it to do.
Right.
It does not
give me an alternative.
Give me an alternative, right? Or what else would you do for the future, right? Because that's a different type of inquiry. This doesn't replace a conversation with a human.
Right.
It doesn't. It sounds fun and it's really introspective, but at the end of the day, like, we didn't have the conversation about keywords until we saw them show up over time.
Yeah.
You know?
Yes.
And then from there, we took those core keywords and we expanded it out.
Yep.
You can have AI do that for you.
Yep.
No problem. Great idea. But it's only going to give you what they think you need to see. You have to tell them who you are to actually have it understand who you are.
Okay.
So I know that's next level.
One step at a
crazy.
time. One step at a time.
It's fun. It's
But
entertaining.
Keep,
but yeah.
keep working with AI. Keep trying it. Keep trying
working with
things.
AI. Look at what your business is and the bigger spectrum above it. That's the big thing that a lot of people miss is what does your business, where does it fall in the cog of the machine? And what do other people get when they work with you or they use your services? What's the bigger audience involved, right? Because a lot of people don't even know that their business ties into another audience based upon a different hobby or or shared common interest. And just understanding what an adjacent audience is to your business opens up a completely different perspective of your brand.
Well, that sounds great. We'll talk about that next time. Adjacent audiences. So we'll let you get ready for your talk. What time is your talk today? 2:45?
Yep, I still got some time.
Okay. 2:45. Do you know what room you're in?
155.
155. So,
one of those, yeah.
so if you're in Las Vegas and you're interested in SEO, you're interested in getting some advice and some help from Eric, get on down here.
Yep.
To downtown Las Vegas. We're centered around Taverna Costera, the corner of Charleston and Main. If you're in Las Vegas today and this is interesting to you, there's really no reason not to get down here.
And if you're
not in town today, and you are coming to town, try to plan your trip around the 3rd Saturday of the month, because that's when we're doing Tech Alley, and that's when Eric is doing his talk every month. So
exactly. Anyway,
all right.
Thank you
Thanks,
very
man.
much. All right.
Good to see you again.
See ya.
More Wi-Fi troubles. It's just not good signal, and I wonder if there's just a bunch of interference Oh, I know why that's doing that. Okay. The 5G signal is good. Yeah. See, we have this little thing that says the connection's unstable. And I just wonder, and maybe it's the 5G part of it, not the Wi-Fi part of it, and that's just the icon it puts up.
Ah.
So we'll keep trying. But the good news is we're getting all this recorded in 4K. What's up, sir? Come by after lunch. So yeah, it's yeah, so yeah, I don't know what it is, because I'll go home and I'll test this again tomorrow and it'll work fine. Yeah. So I'm wondering if it's just the RF environment around here. So what's going on? What's up with that that thing over that
So,
is that like a mobile bar?
Yeah, you've never seen that?
No, I mean, well, I have. I just haven't seen it here.
Yeah, so we were just talking about that. They haven't. So those are very big in other cities. So like Nashville, Detroit.
Is that one of the ones where you pedal?
Yeah, you pedal to get it going. Now I was talking to King Jones. He's the guy that runs it. They're fully mobile and fully licensed and fully insured and everything to run on all Vegas streets, including the Strip.
Okay.
So we'll have to get him over here to talk about it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I took a huge interest in it because there's a lot of overlapping interests in stuff that I do.
Well, it's very colorful.
But also like the ideas like bar crawls, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Brunch crawls. And then I texted it to a few people, and
it looks very much like a thing bachelorette parties would really like.
Yeah, bachelorette parties. Which I'll say this:
you don't want to get all sweaty starting off your bachelor party.
There's so many of those here, but yet I feel like Nashville is just slaying us on those.
You know, I kind of have heard informally that the climate has changed a little bit, and a lot of people are not coming to Vegas for bachelor and bachelorette parties. They're going to other cities. So,
but yeah, I think that's an interesting thing because as it does change, well, now seeing these here, I haven't seen these here. There's a wedding one too, but I feel like these aren't going to be something that we don't see every day now. Like you're going to see these a lot more.
Yeah,
but just
these
taking
are
people
newish.
from like art from like downtown to the Arts District, stuff like that'll be fun.
These are newish to Vegas. I've seen them kind of come and go over the years, like onesie twosie.
Mm-hmm.
This kind of falls in the category of food trucks.
Well, they have 7 of them.
I think local government doesn't know quite how to deal with this, just like food trucks, and they're it's been slow going trying to get now we're getting some Wi-Fi.
Well, I was talking to him and he said that
that was worse.
That's one of the big challenges that they've overcome is getting past all the city stuff where I think, I mean, he'll probably be a little bit more honest with you how much money and licensing and storage and everything they've spent.
Yep.
But I feel like a lot of people probably saw those and said, oh, let's just get them to Vegas. And Vegas, the red tape was very long. So I think it probably cut more people from before they ever even opened.
Yeah, it's Vegas is not, and I'm not just talking about city of Las Vegas. I'm talking about like local government in general, state government in general. Here, they're not great when something is not in a building, when it is not a traditional, like it's a casino, because we know what that is. We know how to regulate that.
Yeah.
It's a restaurant. We know how to. It's in a building. We know how to regulate that. It's a brick and mortar store. We know how to do that. They're very good at doing those things. I shouldn't say quickly, because there's still some red tape with that. If you are in one of those businesses where you have to have what's called a restricted business license.
Yeah.
And that can take a very, very long time.
Yep.
But when something like, I remember when Uber came here.
Yep.
The first time.
Yep.
And it was very much they tried and tried and tried for years, and they couldn't get any traction. So they just decided, and part of the reason they couldn't get traction was the taxi lobby didn't want Uber here. And that is some of what goes on here in Las Vegas.
Say taxi lobby.
Oh no, it was a lobby, bro.
It was the taxi mob.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
Well,
we can't say mob on the online. I get it.
We can say that online. I mean, you can say whatever you want online. Yeah. Do you want the taxi mafia to hear you say?
Yeah, right.
I don't know. That's your call.
Yeah.
Send your cards and letters to Dave Burley.
Yeah.
Send your guys who break thumbs to
If
Dave
you, need,
Berlin.
if you need to find me, I live at the Cosmopolitan.
Yep. Just ask for Dave. So yeah, so it's cool. It's always cool to see these novel things coming, but they do take a long time, and it's just there are things that local government kind of knows how to do, and when it's novel, they struggle with it a little bit.
Yep. Well, now it's going to be figuring out how to monetize it. So hopefully we can get King on here. He can talk
Yeah,
about
I'd love
it.
to. I'd love to get that.
I'll wave him down in a minute.
Yeah, when he comes by, everybody's kind of grabbing lunch right now, so that's good.
Oh, are we on the? So welcome to Taverna Costera. We're live here at lunchtime.
Yep. Lunch is free if you're Tech Alley participants. So lunch will probably be open for another, I would say, 30 minutes or so. If you can get yourself down here. I didn't catch what the menu is today, but it's always great. So come on down to Taverna Costera and
I feel like we beat the heat for sure today.
we got incredibly lucky with the overcast today, and the wind has not been terrible. So
I feel like there's two ways today could have gone. And one of those would be like the camera would have already shut off and been like, I'm too hot. Leave me alone.
yeah, we're definitely hitting that time of year, and I'm gonna have to look into before June. I'm gonna have to look into getting us some kind of awning, and we're gonna have to work on these Wi-Fi internet issues. We're gonna have to figure this out at some point because we never had these issues inside or upstairs. So I don't know what it is about this little area. I don't know if maybe these buildings are acting like a shield or
I feel like there needs to be like just something that can hook onto a tripod that like makes an umbrella but weighted. Like there's so many solutions for something.
No,
like
we're definitely gonna need something because we started out here a few months ago, and we've been in this mode of the sun is kind of on that side of the building, but once the summer hits, that sun's gonna be over there much quicker. So that should be fine. There's a fan in that camera. I don't worry about that. I mean, next month if it gets super hot, we'll start putting an ice pack on that camera like we did with the old ones. But yeah, there's a fan in that camera, and it's super quiet. You don't know it's running.
Nice.
So, but yeah, we've been incredibly fortunate. But yeah, I've got to look into some kind of awning for us, something that is tall enough that we can still get our light there. Because we've been lucky with the overcast because it's windy today, and we were worried about putting the light up with the big dome on it, the big cloth dome on it. I was worried it would get knocked over on somebody, and by the wind. And we've been incredibly fortunate. It's been overcast because if it was bright and sunny, we would probably be like super shadowed right now because the sun's over there behind the building and will very quickly be making its way around the building. So we've been incredibly lucky that the light's good and the wind has not gotten too crazy. So before we were just getting into what Global Entrepreneur Network and Global Entrepreneur Congress are.
Yeah.
So you're coming up in 2 weeks going to Global Entrepreneur Congress. Yeah. So give us the rundown on the network and give us the rundown on what's coming up in 2 weeks.
So Global Entrepreneurship Week is always the easiest part to start. That's 10 or 15,000 events all around the world, but it's all ran by community organizers, and most of those people are volunteers like myself, right? Global Entrepreneurship Congress is where we pull all of those ecosystem builders, founders, venture capitalists, and policymakers all into one location to really help design and understand what is the entrepreneurial ecosystem and climate going to look like globally. So like this year we have Mark Cuban. Mark Cuban is the keynote. This is the first time that it's come back to the United States in 15 years.
It's been a long time.
So really excited about that. We'll have a lot of local, when I say local, American people that haven't made it to the other communities in the past. So, but Global Entrepreneurship Congress and Global Entrepreneurship Global Entrepreneurship Week are just 2 programs of the 13 programs that all fall under Global Entrepreneurship Network.
Okay.
So there's lots of other stuff. There's like GEW or Global Entrepreneur Invest, which is the network of all the investors and stuff that work on a global level to look at different ways that they can funding strategies and things like that. So there's a lot of other programs that fall under Global Entrepreneurship Network. The main ones that I'm a part of is Global Entrepreneurship Week and Global Entrepreneurship Congress.
Okay. Very cool.
So So yeah, I think there's going to be a lot of exciting things to talk about. Obviously, I'm going to be going in the capacity of representing Nevada, but really talking about the stuff that we're doing with Freedom Week. And here's a little update. So Freedom Week is like my own little, not my own, but we've created it to be like a mini global entrepreneurship week, but just focusing on veteran entrepreneurship.
I mean, it's still a week. It's
Still a
not. It's
week.
not like a mini week. It's a full week of stuff.
Full week. It's one segmented audience that focuses on global entrepreneurship week as a whole. So by talking about veterans and just for that week, what we're doing is we're also kickstarting the conversation for GEW in November. It's great because this year we're going to be doing the second Veteran Entrepreneur Library up in Reno.
Okay.
But because of one of the articles or one of the posts that I talked about launching Vet Talks, which what I'm really excited about, Vet Talks is going to be like the TED Talks, but for the military community. That started to get some very big visibility, and I love LinkedIn for this, but somebody in Philly picked it up. We've already talked about building some sort of relationship with Philadelphia from the ecosystem builder standpoint, because I met ecosystem builders in Puerto Rico last year, and now it's to the point where they're like tagging 4 or 5 other people saying, hey, have you seen this? We need to start a Freedom Week in Philly. So while it wasn't a big focus for me to go into other cities, I also know that it's built on a framework and pillars that are strong and consistent. It could easily be spun up or started in other communities. So in the next week or two, I should have a little bit more information about what that's going to look like. But I'm actually going to be sitting down in Indianapolis with some of those ecosystem builders from Philly to talk about, even though there's only about a month, if we could have them do like a kickoff an event, a panel discussion, and I don't know if you know this, but Vets in Tech is going into Philadelphia.
I didn't know that.
I saw their post.
They're launching
so
a
now
chapter
just
there.
trying to figure out how to build some bridges
That's
there
very
to
cool.
where it all loops
Yeah,
together.
and you know, when was last year the first year we did Freedom Week here? Or was it 2 years
Last
ago?
year.
Last year. I mean, we didn't go into it way ahead of time, and we kind of just rallied everybody and said,
Pulled
hey,
it
we want to
together in
do
about
that. We
a
want
month,
to do
yeah.
this, and pulled it together and got 4 or 5 events going, and
Yeah.
then there were already some other really well-aligned veterans events going on that same week, and it worked out that there was kind of something cool every day that you could go do. And that's really all it took, was asking a couple people, hey, I think you're thinking of doing this thing. Would you consider doing it the week after 4th of July instead of the week before, right?
Yep, exactly. Yep. And I think, and the week after 4th of July is really just to keep that sort of patriotic momentum going. And I feel like it's
good branding.
Yeah,
I think.
it's good branding. Yeah.
Right. You get everybody excited about 4th of July, and then let's support some veteran entrepreneurs
and very similar to Global Entrepreneurship Week, which technically it almost falls the same week every year. It's the week of right before Thanksgiving. What's interesting is I feel like, and that's, by the way, that's Thanksgiving is an American thing. Like, it just happens to fall the week before Thanksgiving because Gen Global is based out of the United States. So they're at least privy to that. So if I were to have Freedom Week in other communities, that would be, I only have like a few criterias. Number one, you have to do it the same week. It has to be the week after 4th of July, because that way it stays consistent across multiple communities. And then it needs to have a kickoff event. Ideally, you would have dignitaries. We're going to get a proclamation signed from the governor's office this year. So we have that. And then in the cities that have Vets in Tech, there would be a vet cap that happens that week. And for the cities that are doing their first one, I want to lean for them to do Veteran Entrepreneur Library.
Okay.
So that way there's more veteran entrepreneur libraries that became kind of that anchor point for veteran entrepreneurship in those communities. And then after this year, we'll see how it goes, but I would love for there also to be a Vet Talks.
Right. So
in
tell
those
us what you've given us the one sentence. It's TED Talks about veteran kind of stuff. So tell us what the Vet Talks are. Tell us the format. Tell us what we can expect to see here in July with the very first Vet Talks. Here.
Yeah. So the idea for Vet Talks really came from my experience. I spoke at a TEDx event way back in 2014. And as most people are very familiar with TED Talks, there's actually been over 233,000 TED Talks. You can look up veteran TED Talks and you'll probably find about 15 or 20, but there's no actual way to tell how many of those have actually been done by veterans or if they even have a veteran focus. About veteran focus, right? One of the most notable ones that I love to highlight, and I even talk about in my talk, is Adam Driver. The Kylo Ren is a Marine, and he did a TED Talk about how being in the Marine Corps actually helped him become a better actor. So I really love that. But then I did another formatted talk years later, and that's called Disrupt HR. The interesting thing about Disrupt HR is it's like TED Talks, but it's for the human resources community. A very interesting format. It's a format called Ignite, but it's 5 minutes. You have to give them 20 slides, and those slides auto-rotate every 15 seconds. For people that have any speaking experience at all, even the most experienced speakers are like, Jesus, that's really hard. That's really hard.
You got to cheat. It's got like your talk can't matter on what picture's behind you.
Yeah, well, if you do a really good job, like I did, it can, but it really does need to be consistent. But you have people that they're very dependent on slides with a lot of text. And they had to change. So I didn't want that. That's way too format. And honestly, it was just an aha moment that I had with my coach, and I was talking about transitioning from the entertainment industry, from weddings, into more. I said, hey, I'm having a hard time people taking me seriously as I transition from coming from the world of DJing and entertainment into business. And it was Dave Meltzer, and he just goes, "You're not transitioning, you're expanding." And that was a big mindset shift for me. And because there's so many things that are around veteran transition, I wanted to change that mindset for people. Now, could I go change that mindset and do a bunch of talks? Sure, but by creating a platform and creating a clear community around that, I really feel like it's going to give a lot of people the permission to tackle the challenges that they see in the veteran community, be it post-traumatic stress and support or post-traumatic growth. So the format that I came up with is a hybrid. Right? 18 minutes for a TED Talk is a little bit too long and people might miss the point. 5 minutes is way too complicated. So what we came up with, it was a hybrid in the middle, 8 minutes, 8 slides. There's a few criteria that I'm requiring people to meet. One, there needs to be a story. There needs to be a defined problem. There needs to be a data point. There needs to be a vision for change, and there needs to be a clear solution that anyone can take to lead towards that change. So as you notice, that's 5 things that it must include. You could make each slide one of those things, but you still have room for some creative flexibility to really hit home of something that's going to make a difference. So we're doing our first talk for that. It's called Vet Talks. That's going to be at the historic Leatherneck Club on July 7th. The call for speakers is open now. And I think, I don't even know, I have to look at my phone, but I think we've got over 12 people that have applied. We're doing 6 talks for this first one. So we hope to have a nice little balance there, but it'll be a great night at the Leatherneck Club. It'll be food. Food is included. People can purchase drinks, but then we're going to record them just like TED Talks, and we're going to post them, up to a place where people can go and find more. And then if I could wave a magic wand, 5 years from now, there's 200 of these talks that are out there. We're running a podcast maybe of interviewing the people to talk about their vet talk and go a lot deeper. But it does create that platform in the community for people that want to make a difference.
Awesome. What other highlights do we have coming up for Freedom Week?
For Freedom Week, let's see. We have there's going to be a few more announcements on Freedom Week soon. I think there is the new update's going to be a panel discussion that's being added for Warrior Rising.
Okay.
And then the application for the proclamation goes out this week as well.
Okay. Awesome.
Those are the big ones.
Okay. So that's going to get us to Freedom Week. That's going to get us through the trip to Indianapolis. That's going to get us through Freedom Week. And then how are things looking for GEW for the fall here?
So GEW is November 17th through the 23rd. As again, we are a little early on that. I will say that it is the same week again in Las Vegas as it was for F1.
Yep.
So
we don't pick the week.
We don't pick the week.
I know
but,
people always say, "Why did you pick it during F1?" We didn't. We don't pick the week.
Yep.
It's all over the world.
So there will be some opportunities to get some stuff going. I think we're gonna do some more things closer to the downtown area to stay a little bit away from the F1 traffic and crowd.
Yep.
But feeling good about that. There'll be a lot more big announcements coming out for Global Entrepreneurship Week after Global Entrepreneurship Congress, because that's actually Global Entrepreneurship Congress happens around the same time every year, and that's why they do it in May, June, or July, so they can really kickstart the conversation.
They can start kicking things off for the week.
Yeah.
We
So the
need a little
brand and
extra
all
time
that.
here
Yeah.
in Nevada because
Yep.
we're kind of just getting started on this. This is our third year.
Fourth year
Fourth year coming
for
up?
well, let's see, 2021, 22, 20. Yeah, we did almost nothing in 2021. 2022 was kind of our breakout year.
That was the beginning. Yeah. really the
23
beginning.
was much better, and last year was great.
Yeah, last year there were a lot of events.
But I think this year will be the one that really hits home.
Okay. All right. What else? Vets in Tech. What's going on with Vets in Tech?
What's the big news for Vets in Tech right now? Actually, well, we've got that chapter opening up in Philly.
Yep.
One of the things that we both did, we talked to the lady who's now like helping grow the chapters individually.
Yep. Mhm.
So we will have a chapter meetup coming up soon. But the big announcement for that for Freedom Week is DraftKings is sponsoring the event venue location for VetCap during Freedom Week. I believe it's the 10th.
Are they doing that at their place again?
At their place.
What's great about that is on the 9th,
Mm-hmm.
we are going to be just across the street at Blackfire for the Gathering of Angels
That's
pitch
correct,
event.
yeah.
So I like that we're kind of consolidating some of the events around that area down by the Durango Casino.
Yep, absolutely.
That'll be really helpful.
As am I.
That things are kind of consistently in that area of town.
Yep. Yeah, I think that's going to work out well too.
Because last week for Startup Champions, there were things that were all over town.
Yeah, there was 3 pitch events going on the same night.
All going on in different parts of town. Like 2 of them at the same time. One of them earlier in the day, but people were showing up at all different places looking for the wrong event.
No, absolutely true. Very true. So yeah, those are the big things that are happening from my battlefield perspective.
I don't know. I'm trying to troubleshoot this as we go. It feels a little warm, but it's not hot, and it's not getting an alarm on it. So maybe I'll throw an ice pack under it and see if that helps with our Wi-Fi. But it's I'm wondering if it's not really the Wi-Fi, it's the 5G. So welcome to troubleshooting chat.
Right.
So, all right, man. Who else should we be talking to today?
I can see if I can get King on. Let me.
Yeah, please do. I would love to. Actually, I'll tell you what. If you can get King on, why don't I let you sit in this chair and you can talk to King, and I can try to troubleshoot some stuff. It's not terrible.
They announced they're gonna go take it for a spin, I think.
Okay. Yeah, there's something goofy about this. Yeah, folks, we're just trying to troubleshoot. The Wi-Fi is a little goofy here. I'm not sure why this keeps happening here. It's not I know it's probably a little choppy if you're watching live. We're always recording this, and we're gonna have the high quality videos for you later. So yeah, just apologize for kind of the dead air while we're troubleshooting stuff here. Hey Dave, would you grab an ice pack out of that and just stick it under the router? I don't think that's what it is, but Yeah, just stick it under here. I don't think that's what our problem is. Yeah, more to look at. So, all right. So, all right. Huh. It's been a great tech alley. We've done some good stuff today. So, I am gonna. Did you get to eat?
No.
Do you want to try to go eat?
Yeah.
You go ahead and go eat.
Grab something right quick.
And I'll fill some time here. I'll tell everybody, so we're here. We're at Tech Alley, live from Tech Alley. Tech Alley is the monthly tech startup event, community event we have here in downtown Las Vegas. We're centered around Taverna Costera. They're serving lunch right now. It's every third Saturday of the month. And we are doing lunch right now. Taverna Costera provides free lunch to everybody who's a Tech Alley participant. All you've got to do is come down and scan the code so they can get a good head count of people who had lunch. Always delicious. I don't know what's on the menu today, but we are having a great time with Tech Alley. It's a beautiful day. It's a little cloudy, but not too hot here in Vegas, which is always nice when we're outside. So. We are just going through doing the Tech Alley stuff. So Kurt Walker had his talk this morning. Who's got my money? That's always one that people get excited about because they get to learn how they can get funding for their startup. And it's not always about, equity funding where you're giving away a piece of ownership of your company to the investors, but you are, there are other ways to uniquely fund your startup without giving equity away. And that's what Kurt talks about a lot in his talk. A lot of really creative ways to get your startup funded. So it's sorry, they were just grabbing my attention for something. Third Saturday of the month, if you are interested in tech, if you're interested in AI, if you're interested in crypto, if you're interested in drones, if you're interested in startups in general, we're going to have some marketing stuff today. We have stuff about the business aspects of tech and startups as well. So if you are interested in those things, come on down to downtown Las Vegas, corner of Charleston and Main, right here at Taverna Costera. Taverna Costera is the center of everything we do here. And all the talks are in the different buildings around Taverna Costera. So come on by and take a look. If you're not in Las Vegas, we try to bring you as much as we can from the folks who are giving talks and attending today and learn more about startups. We had Raphael on talking about his book earlier. Dave is always telling us about what's going on with the Global Entrepreneurship Network and Global Entrepreneur Week and Global Entrepreneur Congress and Vets in Tech. We're trying to bring it all to you so you don't have to be here in person. But if you're not from Las Vegas and you're watching this, come on down. If you're ever going to be in Las Vegas, on a third Saturday of the month, come on down and check out what's going on in Tech Alley. We have some really, really incredible folks who are doing their thing, and we just want to share all that with you. So give me a second here. I'm going to try to do a little more troubleshooting.
I go to the workout or and just if anything, just listen and hear what people are doing and saying. Grab it now, it's free. I love what Kurt's doing. We're trying to find that next step in Tech Alley here. How do I raise money? How do I know what that next step? Kurt's doing a tremendous amount. Definitely leverage that. Let me know if other people have ideas. I definitely want to tie them into what we're providing here as a community. But look for that email. Take part of the Telegram group because it is very, very valuable.
Who wants to come ride this sucker around the block? Okay, we're rolling.
We're back up and running now. I was trying to troubleshoot the Wi-Fi and it dumped on me, so I gotta figure out what's up. I don't know if it's just there's a lot of signal in here in this little area with other Wi-Fi's and 5G and that kind of stuff. So I'm gonna, because last month I troubleshot it when I got home, or the next day, and it was working fine. So I thought I had figured it out. So I might have to hardline it in from now on. So, all right, so they're gonna go run the cart right now, and we'll try to catch King when he comes back. So you want to sit down? Or are you gonna go up for the ride? Yeah, jump in. Try to catch King. Jump in. So welcome back, Josh, founder of Tech Alley, founder of many things, but today we're talking about Tech Alley.
Yes, sir. 4 years.
4 years.
Yeah.
Did you ever think it would become this when you started it? But today we're talking about Tech Alley.
I don't know. 4 years was like
yeah.
I knew that the idea of bringing everybody together was a winner, and I hoped that it would be community run, but to see that it's its own running machine, you see how I run it. I barely do anything. I just talk.
No, I mean you did the hard part, which was we found a place. We found someone who is going to make a commitment to provide coffee and water, and right. You have created the infrastructure for all the people who come and do the talks and do the great things here, and made it easy for them, right? And that's always the hard thing about bringing events to bring people together is when everybody's off doing them on their own, they got to find a place. They got to get the catering. They got to figure all that stuff out. You've built the infrastructure for every third Saturday of the month to make it easy for the 12 or 15 people who come and give talks every month to do that.
And that was, again, one of the big purposes, because I used to do that. I know we said it on the show. I used to host meetings.
Yeah.
So when I did the coding school. And so I'd see that. Yeah, people were begging for space, and you're right, sponsorship and food and marketing. Yeah, why don't we just? I love that part. So that part is the biggest expense. We just made it so much simpler.
Yeah, you made it easy for everybody, and so people started coming and giving their talks, and then people started coming and attending the talks.
Yeah. But overall, man, I love what it is. I love what it's becoming. I really do appreciate the recognition that it's been receiving as an organization. I am glad that we're partnering with Fusion 42 and we've got a few partnerships. But the idea was a true ecosystem. Tech Alley just isn't the one stop, and we're just a one branch into a much bigger.
What I like to say is Tech Alley set the example for everybody how an ecosystem really needs to work. People need, for it to be an ecosystem, people need to come together. People need to pay attention to each other. They need to talk about the cool things that are going on. They need to interact. They need to whether they're working with each other or whether they're competing with each other or whatever it is. For it to be a true ecosystem, people need to interact. And Tech Alley has set an amazing example for that part of the ecosystem that I don't think we had before.
Everything just comes together, right?
Yeah.
Here's I always joke and say, the third Saturday, which is when we do it in Vegas, is the best time to do things because the weather's always been great.
We've never had a problem. Never
crappy
once.
weather on Friday or the week before, and then Saturday comes perfect weather, or at least doable weather. And here we got warnings of we're under wind advisories, warnings.
Yeah, we decided not to set up our big light because it's got that big dome on it. We decided to go just kind of with natural lighting today because I was afraid that was going to get blown over
Yeah,
onto
yeah,
something.
yeah. 40 mile per hour gusts, 20.
Yeah.
Not bad so far, man.
Not so far.
Let's hope that Levitt luck keeps working, or,
Yeah.
or the fourth year is
Fourth year, yeah.
is the one that got us. But breezy, but nothing.
It's getting breezier, but it's holding out for us. It's not. It hasn't been terrible. So.
Yeah. But no, man, I'm loving today, man. Loving it. I'm excited for the year coming up. Working on the partnership ideas. Find ways to fund Tech Alley. I think that's always the biggest challenging part. But overall, I think we got a good plan ready for.
Well, what can people do if they're watching and they want to sponsor Tech Alley? How can people help Tech Alley, whether it's through a cash sponsorship or something else? What can people do to help Tech Alley?
So, first thing I always say is silos are corners of an ecosystem. Right? So if you ever hear one group talk about bad about another group that's in that community trying to do good, tell them shut the hell up.
Yeah.
Right? Give first. Everybody's in it for the good.
We all have to show up to each other's stuff. We all have to want the ecosystem to grow. Right now, when the ecosystem grows, we can't show up to each other's stuff. Right? We can shape people. But in the meantime, it can't be like our group competes with their group, we're not going, right? Or we don't like that person in that group, so we're not going.
Yeah. Change culture here, or mindset. I think that's the biggest benefit anybody can do for a startup community, especially one that's trying to build like us. Secondly, if you want to support it through monetary funds, there's a donate button on the Tech Alley site.
Yep.
We are a 501c3.
Okay.
And it goes out to another nonprofit that doesn't charge us fees. So there's no fees to it.
Great.
There's the option for that's donating to tip that organization, but it's very voluntary. So you can go to the donate button, that's always appreciated. And I always try to say thanks to that, but that's what helps keep Tech Alley going. Because I mean, I'm not doing this. I'm not thinking about it. I'm going to do this. It takes to run this.
I think that'd be fantastic. I think that would be a really transparent thing, and I think it would give people an idea how really special what you do is here and what you pull together every month.
Yeah, and so there was a guy. Oh, geez, I can't remember his name. Anyway, he did a really cool. It's going to come to me in a second. But he would do that. He would post his financials. He had a project, and I think he was doing something maybe in food trucks or something like that. And he would post his financials, so everybody would see it. So he'd say, "Hey, here's our strategy. We're going to do, and let's just be transparent and see what comes of it." Right? Let's post that. I mean, not so much to say, I'm covering this or this or that, but to say, yeah, here's what it talks to be.
This is to tell people this is what it takes to do this thing that you love, right? And if you want us to do more of it, understand how much bigger it could become and what it would take.
Or even better, maybe you can talk to us through, right? And say, here's a strategy I want to go through. Maybe I'll talk to some people here. We implement it and let's put something like any other budget or so on. This might take 4 months to see fruition. All right.
Well, and someone could say, "Well, I see you're paying for this. You don't have to pay for that. I'll provide that."
Or they might know somebody, because I do love the donations. I mean, that helps tremendously. I do like to see partnerships. That where there's a mutual benefit. For example, I'm talking to a company now, and the whole idea is their products help bring people to market. I would love to work with you on that, right? How can we form some sort of partnership? Yeah, I love that type of stuff. So, I don't know, man. I mean, like I said, the beauty of being a nonprofit 501c3 is I go to my board and I get to say, here's a cool impact we made.
Yeah.
I don't have to go to shareholders and say, here much money I
right.
Made. Like, it gives us the freedom to be creative on things. And I think, how we raise funds for the organization is something that we should look at. Asking for sponsorships is a full-time gig.
It's raising money whether you're raising money as a startup founder for investment, or you're raising money for a nonprofit or an event like an event like Tech Alley. It's a full-time job. It's not you just can't be like, okay, for the next hour I'm going to work on fundraising.
And then you never know. It's not dependable. Yeah. But you got, for this year, whatever that time period, I mean, come on, in a split second.
Yeah.
So it's a constant fundraising, and I don't know if I want to do that. I think that I'd rather find a revenue strategy mixed in with a donation strategy, mixed in with a partnership strategy.
Yeah.
And make it work for the good of the community that's long-lasting and scalable. And, it's something we can actually focus on. What can Tech Alley become instead of okay, I just need to raise money.
Well, it's definitely working for the community, and I can tell that because I see a lot of returning faces, and I see a lot of new faces every month, and those new faces become returning faces, and I think that's great. So, year 4 is in the books.
Yes, sir.
Year 5 is coming up.
Yep.
Is there something you would like to bring into Tech Alley, something new that you want to achieve in Tech Alley, or something new that you want to bring to the program coming up in year 5?
So I still am working on the sort of that structural parts of Tech Alley, like a business association component. I want to be able to be that space where you use the events themselves to socialize, meet people, and then you use the site and the platform to actually get from that point A to point B that you really want.
Okay.
To do. So if it's partnering with Fusion 42 with their fundraising and go-to-market programs, if it's partnering with some of the other organizations that help get from point A to point B, if it's working with banks and attorneys and life insurance and providing those types of resources, let's do that.
So it's that one-stop shop. You came to Tech Alley, you made a couple of amazing connections. You want to reconnect with them on some things you talk about. You can go to the Tech Alley website to re-energize those connections.
And I always think of this. It was Jean-Claude from Be Right Back, the app, BRBCK. When he said when he was talking about the ecosystem early on when we were putting this all together. I mean, it really is a guiding light for me, because he said when he came to Vegas, he goes, it was like this. I wanted to play soccer, and I felt like I had to build a stadium, and all I wanted to do was bring my ball.
Right.
So I'm thinking, all right, well, really, how can we make it so that people just have to bring their ball? I don't have to go, okay, well, I got to find manufacturing, or what does this mean?
Right.
And here's a catered script and all the resources you need to know to get from point A to point B, because running a business is hard. I mean, people run a businesses.
It's work. That's
tens of forever, ever since mankind, right?
I don't think a lot of people understand that it really is work. This American mythology of entrepreneurship and being on your own schedule and not working for everybody, it's a myth.
Oh, it is, and you know what? People thought of the idea, you thought it, right? It's a thing. So you still have to come up with an innovative way to bring something new to the market, and then have people want to buy that product.
Yeah.
God, it's not easy. It takes a long time.
There's an art and a science to it. It takes time and effort and energy.
Yeah. That book.
You've had like 3 or 4 businesses. So
yeah, and I have the one that's high scale potential, and it's we talk about this. It's national, and looking international, and we're doing international work. But you can make a mistake tomorrow, and it's gone, right? Or are we really making the right money, or is this sustainable? Or, there's so many things that can go wrong. But we're finally, we've had that company for 3 years, and we were making progress in one part, but now we're exploding in the parts of another part.
Yeah.
And we're going, finally, right?
Yeah.
I think we got our message, we got our product, we got our connections.
And 3 years is quick for that.
And it's all coming together. But anyway, hey, I want to talk about something you do.
Okay, let's talk about something I do. Actually, before you jump into that, I'm interviewing next month someone who is a high-scale growth expert from Australia. So I will make sure I ask her some questions for you guys, and maybe get you guys connected. So anyway, go ahead.
So you're telling me that you do like here's what's going on in Las Vegas every week.
Just started. I did a sample on Monday just to show some people, and it came out well enough that I said I'm just going to put it up and make it out to the public there. So yeah, we're just calling it Vegas Startup Scene.
Yeah. And
it is a quick 5 to 10 minutes tops rundown of what is going on in the Las Vegas startup scene. So it's big milestones, big news about the little tech companies like Last week we talked about TensorWave's tax abatement program that they got from the state, and then this week, a little preview for you. We actually already talked about it in the stream. They just did their, I think it was a seed round or a Series A round of $100 million they raised. So that's the kind of news I want us to celebrate the wins that our Southern Nevada, Vegas startups are having. So I don't think we do that enough, right?
Yeah.
How often are you out somewhere and you hear about, oh yeah, they raised $100 million, right? And you find out about it way after the fact. You're like, I would have loved to have known that sooner so I could spread that word,
Heck
right?
yeah, man.
So-
I had no idea, right? There's so much going on, but
Yeah.
the lights of the strip is what has
Right.
everybody's attention. And so, I mean, I was thinking about it. I was like, I'd love to jump on a call, or maybe even have a few of us jump on a call every week and just say,
Yeah.
here's what we've heard. And fill it every, because we need somebody to. I say this, it means one thing when we know what's happening, and I don't even know what's happening. But what really counts is when people outside our sphere knows what's going on.
We could do it. We could do it as a live every week. It doesn't have to be Mondays. That's just the day I pick, but we could do it as a live. Give me 5 minutes to do the news rundown, and then we can have two or three other folks talk about what's going on.
Well, if anything, I said I'd love to jump on a call. I was thinking, how can we get the information? What information do we know? What can I commit to?
Yep.
Right? So, last week, speaking of hosted a Startup Champions
Startup
Network
Champions
Summit,
Network, yep.
which is fun. Have you talked about that at all?
We talked about it a little earlier because Dave was so involved, so we talked a little about what he was involved in and what some of the events were and some of the things that went on.
And it was like last minute they needed events, right? And so they reached out to me, Kurt, Dave, and a couple of others. We just put something together.
Yep.
Kurt did something really cool. Maybe talk about the roast. But he put together a roast.
I heard about it. I couldn't go. I was involved in another event that night.
Yeah.
Which is, again, not a bad thing when we have multiple things going on.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, now it's good. We've got this critical mass events. We can't all go to everything. But yeah, I heard it was some folks told me who went. James Ritchie and some other folks who were there told me it was a fun time.
It was, you know, and I think that that's something that should be an annual event for fundraising for the community, right? Go up there, bring some people on, get some comedians, and have a fun time roasting each other. But yeah, Kurt and we threw together a last minute event here at Taverna, and it was meant to just bring the tech and startups together so we can show people that the tech side of things. Kurt hosted a master class or a session on the ecosystem. We had five organizations in the ecosystem that were here and present. You know, we had me, we had Freedom 42, we had Generator, we had Startup Dave.
Yep.
You know, and one of the Startup Champion folks said, it's great that you're talking, but there should be some sort of really a commitment that you make each other.
Yeah, and I think that's probably the next step. So we're all talking, we're all starting to show up to each other's stuff, we're all starting to know about each other's stuff, and then like that commitment is the next thing that needs to come. Right?
So I'd love to say, all right, here's our sphere, and here's what I gather and I acknowledge, and I commit to saying, let me make sure you get it so that it gets out. Because you're providing that information out to the public.
Yeah, I'll set up a process but in the meantime, just text me or email me or whatever. Hey, I heard this is going on, and we'll work it in. So.
I think that'd be really cool.
Yeah, because that's what I want it to be. I want it to be the thing everyone starts their week off with for 5 to 10 minutes. Of this is what happened last week that I might have missed.
Yeah,
I should call the TensorWave guys, or I should find their LinkedIn post and congratulate them on raising $100 million. Right? You know, I had no idea that cool thing was going on this week. I had no idea Startup NV was also doing an event this week. Right?
Yeah.
I had and so I just I've been saying for years what we're missing in this ecosystem is. We're not pointing out to each other what's cool going on in the ecosystem. So this is me saying, okay, I'm going to try to set the example a little bit and point out what's cool going on in the ecosystem.
I'd love for you to do this every day.
I wish I could. And honestly, if we get enough news and we get enough people watching it and they love it, I'll do it every day. I'll do it every weekday. If we get I don't want to put a number on it. If we get enough people and enough people say, I love it, I want to hear it every day, I'll do it every day.
Okay. Yeah. You got Ben with all the events. Yeah, I mean, there's good content there. You know.
Yeah, so, it's really great. I'll drop you when this week comes out on Monday. I'll send you the link so you can watch it.
Do that, and then I'll share it. But more importantly, I'd love to talk to you about how I can add content or some sort of knowledge from my experiences. Running Tech
Absolutely.
Alley.
Well, and one of the things we do in every one, we're gonna have a real short clip from a Leader's Mindset episode from someone from the community.
Okay.
So like maybe Monday I'll throw something from your episode in, a clip from your episode about hey, Josh Levitt, Tech Alley, this is from like a year ago, but here's a great clip from this episode, so you can get to know Josh and Tech Alley a bit.
Man, I wonder if we have the episodes of when we first started at Tag Alley. It'd be interesting to hear my thoughts.
The one you and I did?
Yeah, that's a couple years ago.
That was a year ago.
It was a year ago.
That was
So yeah.
it was because this is the 1 year anniversary of Live from Tech Alley. We did it in May of last year for the first time, and then what we did was we started the stream, and then we took a break and we recorded your interview, and then we came back to the stream that day. And then your interview came. So yes, we have all that where we talked about Intagli and all that other stuff.
I'm gonna watch that. I'm gonna see what the outcome in the past year has been, both on the Tech Alley and the Intagli side.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Good.
Cool.
Good.
Well, thanks for joining us, man.
Yeah.
Congratulations on 4 years.
Heck yeah, man. I appreciate everything.
Here's to year 5 and many, many more.
All right. Good.
All right. Cool. So much. All right, hang in, folks, and do a little troubleshooting, and we're going to get you another guest here. Hey, Dave, do you want to get on here with King? Okay. All right. Well, why don't you jump on? And here, we'll switch seats. We'll switch seats. You jump in here. So we'll do this, and we'll see if we got anybody else in the queue, but then we'll start packing it up. So, did you go on the ride with them?
I did not.
Okay.
I did not, only because I can't ride those in the state of Nevada. It's a long story. But you're on my side. Totally kidding.
All good.
I'm afraid of heights.
So yeah, tell us who's gonna be coming on here.
So we're gonna have King come over. King Jones is his name. He just took the group out. I don't even know what those are called. But it's the little bicycle things that you see people on in like Nashville and such.
It's like 12 seats.
Yeah.
And all the seats have pedals. You pedal the pedals to make the.
Now the vehicle's actually electric.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think you can make it pedal.
I have a feeling the pedals are mostly for show.
Yeah. It's for psychological fun.
Yeah.
Like, we're exercising, we're burning calories, we're having a great time.
So,
and then it's like shot.
Yeah. Which is my favorite part.
Right?
But it looked like everybody who took the ride came back, had a fun time, and
yeah.
So we had a nice talk with Josh here. We're reminiscing about 4 years of Tech Alley and what's coming up in year 5, and talked a little bit about the Monday startup rundown I'm starting to do, and how we can gather more information for that, so we can have a really good rundown. Yeah, with Tech Alley and Josh. And you ready? All right, I'm going to get out of the way. Jason.
You're the popular guy today, man.
Okay.
Now, welcome everyone to the broadcast. We have King Jones here. Now, tell us a little bit about you and what you're working on and what you're excited about launching.
Yeah, okay. A little bit about me. I'm from Detroit, Michigan. I'm born and raised. I come through a lot, from the inner city of Detroit, not the suburbs. So there's a lot of hurdles that you have to come through when you're fighting that battle or getting out of there. But I was blessed to be able to make it out. Foster kids and boys' homes, even being incarcerated, just being in that environment. So learning the trials and tribulations through all of that, I believe it prepares you for the next step. And I'm saying that to say the lessons that I learned in that environment, I believe prepared me for out here. My biggest company right now is Dr. Fish Spa. So it's where you put your feet in with the fishes and the fish kind of kiss on your feet.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
Nice.
so I've been doing that for about 6 years out here in Vegas.
Love that.
Been blessed to make my first million back in 2021 with that.
Nice.
And from there, just been doing my best to scale it and grow it. And that brings me to the next company is the pedal bikes. The pedal bikes.
Nice.
So I invested into pedal cruisers. It's really big on the East Coast.
Yeah. Yeah, Nashville. I've seen him in Nashville.
Yes.
Where else? What? Atlanta. Detroit.
And I've seen them in Ohio. I've seen them in Chicago. I've seen them in. I'm sure they got them in New York, Minnesota, Nashville. There's some everywhere.
Yeah.
It's really expanding really fast.
Now, can you tell me why there hasn't been that push for them here?
I think it has been a push, the reception of it.
Yeah.
And being willing to allow it to come in. Sometimes people fight against innovation. It's a lot of hurdles that you have to cross with innovations.
Well, and for this one, it sounded like from the conversation we had earlier, there's a lot of red tape.
Yes.
In getting your vehicles licensed and insured and probably put. So does it feel like there's been people that may have tried to do this, but weren't successful because they didn't have the staying power?
And that's the thing.
Or staying capital, I guess.
I've heard people say that it is impossible. Literally.
Yeah.
It's not happening.
Yeah.
At all. They're saying it took me almost 2 years. Since I had them and in my warehouse. So when you say protect, it's crazy, especially being on the strip. Being an international market, they really want to protect it. Make sure that everything is all of the T's is crossed and all the I's is dotted, even the ones that they don't know need to be crossed. Or they don't know because they would give me a task. Once I complete the task or accomplish what they required me to accomplish, then they come back with the next thing.
Yeah.
And then I go back with that, and then they come back with something else. And that took almost, like I said, over 2 years.
Wow. So you're ready to go now, and you took everybody out for a spin earlier.
Yes. I'm ready to fully launch. We'll be doing a full launch probably the end of this month, the top of next month. Right now, we're still doing beta testing on the products and just getting all the good feedback.
Nice.
All the customers. So always looking for the positive reinforcement. I definitely, you said something earlier about having the finances to sustain, and I feel like a lot of people haven't been able to sustain. That's probably why it hasn't been launched. It's very expensive. Just housing alone is over $200. So
wow.
And we're talking over 2 years.
And for those 2 years, you haven't been able to monetize these.
Make no money.
Okay.
No money. I haven't made no dollars off of it.
Okay.
Yet. I just took a trip out last weekend. I think I made $1,000. So out of $200,000, I made $1,000.
So the question would be: is this a franchise?
It's not yet, but
not
it's
a franchise.
Definitely going into that. I have a lot of people inquiring about it.
So from the research that you've done, and if you're willing to share, what do you see as the first model that you want to try to leverage to start to recoup some of that investment? Is there promising practices that you've seen in other communities, or have you done secret shopping, or have you asked for mentorship and help from other people that are doing this well in other cities?
Yes, I have. I've talked to other companies that was doing it. This is a big thing, in other parts of the country, and some of them has been discouraged. Believe it or not, some of the national brands. This is a national product. Some of those has been discouraged coming to Las Vegas.
Yeah.
So I did talk to them firsthand. I even took some of the rides and different things, but more importantly. I definitely believe that's something that I can present, I can offer to the table is how to do it. And I've been blessed to be able to get it in. So I want to be able to use it to the fullest. I think it's a large market for it. Especially Vegas being a party capital. And I want to do mine bigger than just the partying, bar hopping, hub.
You know, I want to have it where kids can do arcade tours, or elders can do brunch tours, or dessert tours, or so on and so forth. You know, it's so open-ended, and in Vegas is so many things to do. I think we definitely just want to supply those markets, even museum tours or anything. You know, it's so wide open. So I'm excited.
There's a handful of different themes that I see that you could definitely do.
Indeed.
And even where we're at here, like we're in the Arts District. Even I did a quick little video earlier. You saw me take it. I sent it to 2 people, connections I want to make, but they were like, "Where is that right now? Like where?" Like, is there a way that they can go from the Arts District to downtown? And I'm like, yep, probably. But they're really big in the downtown area, and they're crossing over here a lot. So there's going to be some value for it. What big challenges? You've overcome a handful of challenges. What's been the biggest one for you?
Oh man, the biggest one? Oh man, I don't even know where to start. This concept, I think, is mutually beneficial. I really wanted to do something that I can give back to. So a lot of people don't weather the storm to getting on the strip. I can say they can't, but they can. It's just a lot.
It sounds real nice, and then it's like we're red tape.
That part. So I wanted to be able to bridge that gap a little bit. So now I can get the people from the strip and bring them to the art district. So I can bring them to downtown, so on and so, and vice versa, you know, and cross it over as well too. But one of the biggest hurdles is, the fish spot, Dr. Fish Spot. I invested over $200,000 and relocated to the other side of the country. You know, every dollar I had, I didn't have nowhere to stay. I was staying in hotels, and then I found out that it was illegal to operate fish spas in the state of Nevada.
Oh wow!
Oh my goodness, yes. Wow. So that was like a really big hurdle for me, but I believe that prepared me because I was able to get it overturned, and now it is legal. It took a few months, but it changed my life, you know, and I believe that helped fuel me to take challenges like the pedal bikes. You know, so by it not being legal, or at first they wasn't allowing it, me looking at it as an opportunity versus a hurdle, you know, a wall, a stoppage. You know, I just look for it's a way to get around it. It's up to me to figure out how. You know, so that's the biggest thing. I think it's the mindset of looking at obstacles. You know, and when you look at them, you don't look at them as they're going to stop you. You got to look at them as how do I resolve it? How do you solve it?
Now the other one that you have is the wedding one.
Yes.
And that looks like a carriage straight out of like Cinderella or something.
Indeed. That was
what's the vision for that?
Oh man. The Las Vegas is literally the marriage capital of the world. Right? So when I did those numbers, it's real numbers. So if anybody out there, you can take the time to Google how many marriages happen in Las Vegas a day. And it comes up to over 300 weddings a day. So I said, oh my God. Like if that's something that's doing that big already, how can I add value to it as well as get a piece of it? So just a small piece at 10% of that. Let's say 5%. 5% of that is roughly around about 15. That's 10% is 30. So 5% is about 15 a day. So if I can creep into about 15 a day, that's a crazy market, and I'm adding value. This is something that they can't get anywhere else. We are the very first fully electric carriage, horseless carriage. So I'm excited to add value to the wedding industry here in Las Vegas, as well as.
So those aren't in other markets.
No, those are nowhere.
Wow.
In the country.
Okay.
This is the
we got a lot
place.
to talk about, bro.
Yes, they're the first ones here in America. And then being road legal, you know, so somebody might have something similar, something I don't know, but they can't get on the actual road with them.
And if they do, that's where the mob comes in. I'm just kidding.
I'll let the police take care of that.
I'm just kidding. I always make inappropriate mob jokes in Las Vegas. No, I think it's brilliant. As we talked earlier, I have a lot of experience in the wedding industry, but what's interesting that a lot of people don't realize is around that, there's a whole ecosystem that works around it. And that's going to be your photographers, your florists. Like there's a whole entity that comes with that. And then now it looks like you could take somebody through a drive-through,
Oh yeah.
get married, and then go do their photos somewhere, and then take them to dinner and take them back. Like that's a whole like yeah, you could do one where it's like you burn out a bunch of those, but it could be like one whole night where that's like your buyout for the evening, but that's a decent paycheck there.
Yes, I'm excited about it, man. And so you gave the name. I mean, you said you gave the reference of Cinderella.
Yeah.
You know, it's a memorable experience.
Yeah.
You know, when people
Yeah.
get married, it's a lifelong experience.
Yeah.
You know, and I want to be able to contribute to that as well too. They're
Yeah.
not going to forget going off in the carriage.
Yeah,
I believe
exactly.
that's like every woman's dream.
Yeah.
You know, they created.
Yeah.
Disney did an amazing marketing
Yeah.
job, and
Yeah.
I just want to contribute to it, or kind of help bring it to life. And I believe with the carriages, we
Yeah.
definitely be able to do
And that can drive both all your vehicles can drive on any street, correct?
any street. Yes.
Wow, man. I've got a gala coming up on the 31st, and I was like, ooh, me and my girlfriend could probably just like roll up to Durango Casino and just like get out
Yeah.
whole ball. That'd be
You
cool.
don't gotta worry about nobody else doing that. Neither.
Yeah.
You know, this is definitely a eye catcher, stand out. It's an experience.
So how many vehicles do you have?
Right now, I have about 7. These
Okay.
still the prototypes. We're expanding, we're growing. I'm steady adding on. I'm learning from it.
And it's how many of the pedal bikes and how many of the wedding ones?
Carriages. I have 3 electric carriages,
Okay.
the wedding carriages, and then 4 other pedal bikes.
Cool.
Pedal pros.
Love that. Nice. And then for what do you see? Obviously, we have some challenges here in Las Vegas with the weather. What do you see that looking like? Have you kind of thought through that with your model of through the summer, through the winter,
Of course,
and things like
of
that?
course. So, like I said earlier, this is really big on the East Coast.
Yeah.
And I've seen them with my own eyes and experience where they be on them and it be 10 degrees outside.
Yeah.
With their coats on, just
Yeah.
and they're
Yeah.
having fun though.
Yeah.
They're still moving it and having a ball.
Thankfully, winter here is like 30.
Nowhere near.
Yeah,
Right.
35.
So
the worst I've ever seen it. And I'm like, this is not.
So
bad.
I think that we're doing pretty good in the winter seasons. But I also put additions on there to where I can have a heater.
Yeah.
And then Vegas is big for the summers.
Yeah.
The heat. So I'm gonna have air conditioners on there as well.
Cool.
I already have misters on there and
Nice.
fans.
But then you also just got to set those strategic points where.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
hey, you want to get in here and get a nice cold drink, and then you tell those people like, hey, we're bringing 20 people.
Yeah, for sure.
How many people fit on the ped bikes?
About 15.
15. Okay.
15 people and the driver, so 16 total.
Nice. And then when you guys go out, is it just one driver that's kind of operating the whole thing? That's all it takes?
Yes. Yep. We have one driver, chauffeur. He's the one that's he's kind of like the pilot or the orchestrator, so to speak. He's the general in charge, so to speak. He just makes sure everybody is doing what they're supposed to do. We do have seatbelts on them and make sure nobody's jumping off and doing nothing crazy and all of that kind of stuff. But it's pretty cool, 16 total with the driver, and it's important that we have the driver on there as well. We also have options for karaoke.
Cool.
We also have options where DJ, where the DJ comes on and have the setup and have the turntables and have the speakers. It's pretty cool, so it's a lot.
I got some cool ideas for that promo video.
Yeah. Actually, speaking of the marriages, we was actually thinking about doing an actual marriage on the pedal bike as well too.
Love it.
Going up the strip, so you can get married. Just have the officiant comes on and do the actual wedding
with the
on
license
pedal
and all
bike.
that stuff. Yeah.
So I think that's going to be pretty cool as well. We're going to do some new things here.
I love it. Do you have contacts in that world for like the officiants and stuff?
I have one.
Okay.
Well,
Cool.
two officiants that
Cool.
I personally spoke to that's excited about the concept, but I'm totally open to working
Cool.
with everybody, whoever and however. One thing I learned about Vegas is it is enough for everybody.
Oh yeah, 100%.
It is
and most industries are really good about that. Like especially in the photo video industry, I've only seen people that are very courteous to say, hey, I'm booked that day, but here you want to talk to this person,
Yeah.
or they'll share resources.
Where I'm from in Detroit, we grew up in an environment where it wasn't a lot.
Yeah.
So if you have it, I gotta take it.
Yeah.
You know,
Oh, yeah.
if I have it, somebody gonna take it from
Yeah.
me. In
Yeah.
Vegas, oh my God,
Yeah.
man. $34.8 billion a year.
Yep.
You know,
Yep.
like it's $95 million a day.
Yeah.
Like I wouldn't know what to do with all that if I could.
Yeah.
You know, that's just a fraction of it. You
Yeah.
know, with a fraction of percent is life changing. So in this type of environment, man, I definitely think it's more than enough for everybody. So I'm totally open, and however,
Yeah.
you know, we can work together.
You got my mind running, man. My mind is running. I'm like, this would be a cool idea.
Yeah.
So one of the last things I definitely wanted to ask you is when it comes to what's next, right? So are you already kind of shaping what the next move will be after?
I already have blueprints and designs, concepts, getting into other industries. I mean, I'm
Spoken like a true entrepreneur, my friends.
Yeah, man, it's a battle, you know, because I haven't even launched it yet.
Yeah.
I'm already thinking about,
Yeah.
you know, how I could get into the funeral industry,
Yeah.
how I could get into the into the wedding industry, and
Yeah.
you know, other cars and other types of vehicles and limos, and
Yeah.
fully electric. Like it's kind of open ended, you know, and I have some great, got a great team.
How big's your team?
It's actually, believe it or not, it's fairly small, you know, but I like hard work. You
Yeah,
know,
I
it's
love that.
uncompromisable. So when you sometimes less is more, you know,
Oh,
kind
yeah.
of thing, you know. But I'm always willing to expand. And one of the biggest things that I learned is that finding the people that's good at what they do.
Yeah.
Being an entrepreneur, sometimes like, I can do it myself. And,
Yeah.
man, even if I could,
Yeah.
you know, it's so many
Not
other
sustainable.
things. Yes, right. You know that I'm going to need to do. So I'm doing my best to find people that's solidified and great at what they do, and just keep building and keep building and keep building. But I have a lot of great ideas, man. I'm excited to see what this next year is going to bring.
And where can people go to find you? Where's the best place to get started to learn more about what you're doing?
Man, so jumping the gun a little bit, but Party Pedal Cruise is the website. Party Pedal Cruise Las Vegas is we got a social media tag, and also Royal Carriages.
Royal Carriages
Las Vegas. That's social media as well, and we're almost done with the website. But right now, the Dr. Fishbach is my biggest
Cool.
baby. So definitely can find me on Dr. Fishbach Las Vegas on all the social media platforms, as well as the website Dr. Fishbach Las Vegas as well.
I love that. Now, man, I had one more question
Yeah, no
on
worries.
the carriage.
Yeah.
Does that have music on it too?
Yes, it does
Okay.
has music, but it's not as loud.
Okay.
So, and that's some of the things that kinks, like I said, that I'm working
Yeah.
towards or working through. I put bigger speakers on, but
Uh-huh.
then I had to add bigger amps.
Yeah.
And then the bigger
Yeah.
amps take more
Because
battery.
it's a different, it's a little bit different setup. So I was just curious about that. But yeah.
So, but I'm working on it, man. I'm solving it. All of those issues right now. Like I said earlier, these still the prototypes, but it's still great concepts that people still enjoying
Yeah.
along the way. And but by the next generation one, just think. When you see your phone, we got the iPhone 16s now,
Yeah.
whatever it is now. When you think about it, if you think back on the iPhone 1, like it's totally different than what it is now.
I had some friends. They were married and they had a text thread that they'd kept going.
Oh man,
forever.
all the way. Okay.
And one of the messages said, "These new iPhones have video."
Oh.
And it was like,
that's crazy. But you can see the big difference, the biggest jump, man.
Yeah.
And that's what I like to remind people about the carriages, the pedal bikes. These is all first generations,
Yeah.
So my mind already racing and running on how we can improve it and keep them going to the next ones. And I'm excited to see what they do. I think it's going to really impact the Vegas experience.
That's great. Yeah, man. Happy to connect any dots that I can. I do have one question that I love to ask everybody, and I'm like in podcast mode now, but I know, right? Is there anything that you're reading right now, or anything that you've read that kind of helped shape you as an entrepreneur, that's bringing you a lot of impact right now, or any podcasts or anything?
Man. I'm reading right now The Baron's Son.
Okay.
The
What is
Baron's
it?
Son. It's a great book, man. I'm reading 2 books at the moment. I don't encourage that, but it's 2 different types of book. It's Beats, but gosh, they're gonna kill me. Beats and Rhymes. Beats and Rhymes. It's about DJs here, female DJs. The Few. They wrote a book here in Las Vegas. It's 3 female DJs. And,
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. And they talk about the experience. That's why I'm saying I'm not just plugging it aimlessly. It's a really good book, man.
Shoot that one to me, if you would.
It definitely tells you about the journey of a business, you know, and making some of the mistakes and not making the other ones, and learning from them and each other's and the hurdles that they have to face. But The Baron's Son is another one that I'm reading right now as well. And the biggest thing I get out of the book is where the guidance. When a lot of times when you go through hard experiences, I look to a higher power. And in this book, it talks about how you get guided along the way. So it kind of reminds you that you're still being guided. You're still being helped. It's a higher power there that's still guiding you, connecting you with the right people, and aligning you with telling you, showing you, so on and so forth, man. And sometimes you need that reminder as an entrepreneur, because it can get a little dark sometimes. It can get a little confusing, a little uncertain, you know, all of that, you know, but that's one of the books that I'm reading right now. It's one of my favorite books of all time. That one and The Loss of Success. So I definitely encourage that, by Napoleon Hill.
Oh man, we got a lot to talk about there. So my mentor is a guy, Dave Meltzer. He actually just became the chairman of the board for the Napoleon Hill Institute.
What?
Yeah, so they're going to be doing a whole online driver for that. They're going to be doing one for youth, one for veterans. They're going to be going down very specific tracks.
Oh my goodness! I love to be a part of
yeah,
any kind of way, man. That's my favorite. I read hundreds of books, and Napoleon Hill.
This is the first one I ever read.
Is definitely the best overall, because it talks about as a person, man. A lot of people think that it's something out there and it's something over there, but you got to develop you first, you know. And as you develop you, then you can learn other things and take other things. But it was life changing. I really enjoyed what he was teaching. I definitely believe he was ahead of his time, and a lot of people don't appreciate working with self, you know, and learning self. And the better you do that, I believe it opens up so many other things. You said something really quick earlier about the podcast. I told you my ideas be running, right? I want to do a podcast on the bike, going up the strip, right? So yes, I'm excited.
We're down.
To look. I think it'd be dope.
We're down.
You know, the first of its kind. Nobody's doing a podcast on the strip, you know, or going up and down the strip. So I think it'd be dope.
Vegas startup scene.
Yeah, we could. Well, and I'm thinking in my brain now, because there's 4 or 5 really badass podcast studios, and you could almost do a tour.
A tour, yeah. See, man, podcast. Why you going to tour to tour?
Yeah, there's some cool ideas.
There's a lot of.
We got to talk, man. There's some cool ideas. There's some cool opportunities for stuff coming up too. Yeah. Now my mind's just
right. I like the innovation. You know.
Here we are. This is the 4th birthday celebration for Tech Alley.
Yeah.
How did you find out about Tech Alley? How did you get plugged into this whole network?
Man, Marcus. In the book, the Law of Success, it talks about energy, and it talks about how important positive energy. You know, the brother Marcus, I just met him. It hasn't even been a week.
Oh, yeah.
And when you meet good people, it's energy. You know, it's an energy connection. And I don't go everywhere I'm invited. You know, because I mean, you don't know what you're getting into. You know,
sometimes you do. You're like, that sounds great. I'm definitely not going.
Yeah, I can't. In certain circles, you can't move in.
Yeah.
You know, but I said that to say his energy was so good and so strong that it gravitated me to it. You know, he connected me with Josh, and the same thing with him, man. We talked briefly over the phone, and it was a very high energy conversation. Man, I'm definitely going to take time out.
That's great.
I also believe we were talking about yourself earlier as well too. I believe when you're going through things individually, I believe it's at a moment where it's a breakthrough.
Yeah.
Even today was a rough morning for me. I was a little under the weather and, getting out, but I'm glad I overcame that.
Yeah, me too.
Because I wouldn't be here.
Yeah.
Right, yeah, you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I wouldn't meet the good people. You wouldn't meet opportunities. You wouldn't be able to take advantage of them. And I believe as entrepreneurs and people striving to do great, you gotta overcome yourself first, and overcome those hurdles within yourself. And I believe when those challenges come, you have to overcome those. And today is a great example, and I'm glad that I was able to overcome it because I met some great people and developed some great relationships. So that's a little bit of advice, for people. When you're going through something, take that as a challenge to keep going.
Yeah.
Because it would have been easy for me to just lay in the bed
Yeah.
and just be like, hey, man, today, I couldn't make it and whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
But you missed the opportunities,
I've been talking about building more authentic relationships for about 6 years now. I call it why networking, and I have principles. The first principle: show up, serve, share, synergy, smile, because I have resting Marine face, and shop local. And there's so much alignment in everything that you're already doing and things that you're gonna do. This is it's always gonna be cool for tourists, but I really think the local community is gonna dig this too. Just bridging gaps between the arts district and downtown.
Oh yeah.
And just having fun with that. So yeah, I look forward to connecting you to some of the incredible people I know in the world of lounges and pizza, all of it, and weddings.
Oh yeah, we could do that too. They could be eating pizza while they riding.
There it is. There it
For
is.
Sure. Yeah, man.
Very cool. Nice. Drop one more time where people can find you, and then
right now it's Party Pedal Cruise, partypedalcruise.com.
pedal with a D.
That part, yeah. And then royalcarriages.com. Dr. Fishby is it starts with them, so definitely looking for a unique experience that you ain't gonna get nowhere else as well too.
So it is legal now in Vegas.
Legal. 6 years. 6 years. It's a great experience, man. That a lot of people have the misconceptions. We've been in business for over 6 years. We haven't had no incidences, nobody, no anything, right? It's a lot of benefits to it. They have special enzymes in their mouth.
Okay.
It's called diathanol. It's softening and healing elixirs, so to speak.
Okay.
It's very similar to aloe vera. So you break the plant and the aloe comes out.
Yeah.
It's a natural healer. It's the exact same thing. It just comes out of their mouth.
Nice.
It's been proven to help with eczema. It helps with psoriasis. It helps with increase of blood circulation. So it's great for diabetes or neuropathy. And so many benefits. That's where the name Dr. Fishby came from. I didn't come up with the name.
Nice.
They already had it. 200-300 years just in other countries. I copyrighted and trademarked it here in America.
Boom!
But I didn't come up with it, believe it or not. They're like the doctors of the ocean. They're the little fish that swim with one of the larger animals. So when you put your feet in, kind of like the big fish in the pond. And they come to your feet just as they would a larger animal in their natural habitat.
I love it.
Pretty cool.
Well, thanks so much for coming on today,
No
man.
worries, man.
Look forward
Thank
to
you.
catching up soon.
Oh, yeah.
And yeah, beautiful day here. Now the sun's finally starting to break through. It's gonna melt us.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, we're wrapping up.
Yeah.
For sure.
Thanks again, boss.
man.
We'll see
I
you soon.
appreciate it. For sure. Thank you. All right.
Thanks for coming on. All right. So we'll do this one, and unless we've got anybody else waiting, we'll pack up after that.
Cool.
Cool.
Sounds good. You want to jump this one?
Yeah, I'm gonna jump on that. Whew, sun is coming out.
boss.
Okay. There we go. We're still running. Everything's going. All right. Have a seat. You might want to take that bag off. That might be easier for you.
Thank you, though.
Oh, yeah. All right. So, tell us who you are and what you have going on.
My name's Carl Kent.
Here, pull this closer to you.
Okay, my name's Carl Kentlett. My
Yep.
organization is Cyborg Phoenix Simulations Incorporated.
Okay.
And if you've ever seen the movie Ready Player One,
I have. I love it.
I have the background stuff behind it.
Okay.
Basically, I have some stuff, patents and some stuff, relating to how to organize network hardware and network architecture and software communications so that you can run thousands of people interactively real time faster than you can with a 10-person LAN.
Okay.
So it contains the structures and the processes needed involved.
Okay.
So would you like me to get into the meat?
So what do you envision this will be used for?
Primary usage I envision it for would be more distributed computing.
Okay.
Right now we can make mega arcades and we can make military training simulator systems so that we can do things like reduce fog of war casualties.
Okay.
So for example, for Iraq, of allied deaths and injuries with through friendly fire. Now, let's face it, how many times do you have the military go out with thousands of people for branches of service? Like never. So they're not used to it, so they don't think about the process, and there's probably not a lot of science behind that. They understand there, but there's a whole bunch of saying is you've got a plan for any effort, and then as soon as first contact happens, all those plans go out the door. If you don't plan, you end up with fecal matter all over the place. So it can help with that. It can also help with large-scale entertainment things. We can have 1,000 people playing in a tournament real time. Probably 60 plus updates a second. You can also use it to redistribute computing processes, like with AI and stuff, at a lesser cost in form of computing.
Okay.
So that's really where I see most of the demand occurring is actually with the AI and doing it so that you can get faster and more scalable AI systems.
Okay. So you might not need as many GPUs.
No, you'd still need the GPUs, but how much you have to pay for a supercomputer versus how much can you downgrade to something smaller and distribute it across the system.
Okay.
So that's kind of where I see the shift. Because the cost to shrink everything goes up exponentially. The cost to add more systems is linear. And so you can distribute it and have more wider scale distribution and more mom and pop shops able to do a lot of this processing.
Okay.
So that, and they can scale up by saying, oh, well, we need to add more things.
Okay.
But right now, with network communications, the way they are, that won't work. That will just kill your growth.
So I want to go back to the military stuff you were talking about. So would this be like training simulations? How would this work for the military application you talked
about? It would be training simulations that go on top of any field training they have.
Okay.
Like one of the easiest things for the military to implement is they can also use it to faster battlefield intelligence. So you organize how you're going to sort it, use multiple networks that feed into your military intelligence computer system, and so you get faster responses to military intelligence.
Okay.
Because like when you're doing the network, it's like you're driving through a construction zone with flag. Well, with this system, you would literally have multiple networks feeding in and you can simultaneously feed as fast as the network can do.
Okay.
And then from different sources.
So what stage is this at in terms of technology, and what stage is the business at?
I'm still in very prelim stages of business.
Okay.
In terms of the technology, I hit a roadblock, which I'm working on right now, which is the IEEE degraded the standards for broadcast communication. Now, they did it for legitimate reasons. Don't get me wrong, because privacy and security were the main things they were focusing on. But this privacy and security aren't the main thing we're focusing on. We're focusing on the fact, and I'm going to take it out of the computer technical field, is how much you're driving on the freeway. Different is it 100 people versus having 100 cars with one person each on the freeway. So having the bus system in place makes for faster, smoother driving.
Okay.
And encourages less collisions. So this is kind of what it's doing is we're implementing a new system. But instead of having one network, one lane of traffic, we have one out and 12 coming in.
Okay.
And so you have much greater throughput, so you're able to have much faster processing.
All right. Well, sounds really great. So, who are you looking to connect with? How can people reach you so that they can help you out with this?
They can. I have gaming simulations.
Okay.
So you can email me at cybersimulations on gmail.com.
Okay.
Right now, like I said, I'm in the preliminary stages. I'm working on getting an SBIR grant to develop the hardware. And then I also want to develop the hardware so that the network directly feeds into memory without requiring CPU cycles, so that it can just go and fetch information and we can get the lag that you would normally experience, like if you're playing a video game. It's the lag.
Okay.
I mean, it's literally flows as fast as you're capable of perceiving, and that creates a new opportunity. That's also how it would benefit AI. Because if you don't have the lag from the network, somebody pick it up.
Yep, absolutely.
And so that's what I'm working on with the SBIR grant to work on that. Because my field is databases. A lot of databases and data structures and programming.
Okay. So you're working at V or?
I'm working getting my and part of it is I'm doing this for and so I'm taking up it's there and there's a lot of stuff coming. Probably the most important thing I think is I come here all the time. You see me here all the time.
Yep.
It's on networking, it's on voting, building people as a collective. We need new ideas flooding in the system. We need new innovations. We need people who think outside the box. And we can joke about the back of my business card, right? So literally put is we need people who think outside that box, come up with new ideas, and that's going to create a bigger, brighter future for everyone.
Sounds great. That's what Tech Alley's all about.
Absolutely. That's why I keep coming.
All right.
It's a valuable use of my time, I think.
Yeah, it's a great event. So, all right. Well, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you.
It was great to see you again.
You have a nice one.
You too.
Bye-bye.
All right. Let's see. Do you want to jump on? You're good? All right. Oh, no worries. It was great.
Look at that.
Look at that. Sun's out. Ooh. Sun's out. Guns out.
You know what that means?
Guns out. Sun's out. Guns out.
When we tear down, I'm going to the pool because my pool is open now.
Yeah.
And we have barbecue grills.
I will probably be doing the same thing when I get home.
It's been.
This is the first Tech Alley month in a while. You haven't had to run off to some other event.
I know.
So it's so it must be nice to have a little breather after a day at Tech Alley.
Yep. Well, I mean, I've still got work to do. So,
yeah.
But
Like
I'd
we
rather
all
do
do.
that poolside.
Yeah, I mean, when we get out of here, there'll be all the file transfers and uploads and downloads and all that.
Today's a little bit slow. Tomorrow we're doing shout out for those of you that are looking at something to do far away from EDC. But we're doing the Gears and Grind car show over at Baguette Cafe over in the Southwest.
That's second and fourth, or first and third. I can never remember.
First and third
Sunday
Sunday.
of the month. Down,
So every time
right over here.
No, it's
there.
It's, Southwest. Where? I don't know.
Oh, it's not up here anymore. It's not downtown.
No, but big news will be coming up, and hopefully we'll be able to push this for them. So they're out in the Southwest over there by Baguette Cafe.
Okay.
By Durango Casino, and then some people may have seen this one. There's a car group that takes place called Fast Fridays over at Durango, no, over at Uncommons.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And Taylor and Tyler have now inherited that show as
That
well,
event
but
as
they're
well.
going to switch it. So, and then they have a big event coming up on Friday, the 23rd.
Sounds right.
Yep. Friday the 23rd, they're doing a big thing at Starbase. I was hoping they could make it by today to talk about it, but that'll be happening.
Send me the info on that, and I'll put it into Monday's rundown.
Absolutely.
So, all right. Well, I think that's all we've got for you. Thanks for coming out, Dave. Thanks to everyone who sat down and talked with us today. We had always some really great guests. It was great to catch up with Josh and kind of reminisce about the 4 years of technology. So, I think we're going to call this a day. It's just about 2:00. Just when we like to start wrapping up here. So
wind is kicking.
The wind is kicking. It's actually the timing's really good because I think we probably have about half an hour before it gets windy enough that stuff starts blowing away. So, all right. Well, thanks everybody for watching. We will see you next month. Don't forget, third Saturday of the month, every month, here at downtown Las Vegas at Taverna Costera, Tech Alley. If you are in town, if you're in Vegas, come on down third Saturday of the month. If you're going to be in Vegas, plan your trip around the third Saturday of the month so you can come on down and join us for Tech Alley. That's it for us. Onward and upward.
Have a good one.
Not yet.